You're listening to The Scrimmage with Daniel Hargrove and Justin Domashevitz.
Sunday, good morning, afternoon, and good night.
What about evening?
Nah, get out of here. Nobody
Just
listens.
morning, afternoon, and
Nobody
night.
listens to us in the evening.
Yeah.
Really?
When do you think evening starts? Like, would you say it's like 5 o'clock?
That's what I think, yeah.
Shifted from afternoon to evening, and
Yep.
then maybe like 8 o'clock is night?
Yeah, I'm down with that.
Okay.
What do you think, Andrew?
Do you think it depends on the time of year?
Wait,
It's not night until like 11 o'clock in the summer.
So you take into account daylight.
Yes. For me, it's about daylight.
That's
So
actually a good
Alaska just doesn't have nighttime
Or
in the
daytime.
summer or daytime.
In the winter.
So right now it's-
according to Andrew, at like 2 in the afternoon in the winter of Alaska, you say good night. All right, good night.
Nah, I mean, it's just always night. Just always night.
Always night.
Yeah.
The land
I
of forever
think-
night.
Biblically,
This took a turn.
light and darkness correlate with day and night.
Oh, but what about afternoon? It never talks about afternoon.
No. See, that's what I'm thinking. I think, like,
Well,
I think Andrew might be
technically-
onto something.
Between noon
and
midnight is afternoon.
Well, actually, between noon and noon is afternoon
Yeah. Well,
because it's all afternoon.
That's true.
technically, isn't all of time afternoon? Because there was a noon a long time ago, and everything after has been after that noon.
That's a very
After
valid
that
point.
noon.
So
But what if
technically,
it's
it's
noon?
always afternoon.
What if it's noon?
That's after a previous noon.
But that's a previous noon.
Still,
It's very
Which
confusing.
noon are we talking about?
a nooner.
And I have secret plans.
What is that?
They left them out on the table.
Are they secret?
They are plans
For what?
that I am saying are secret.
They look like Band-Aids or
Those
something.
are garden plants.
These are garden plans,
Ah,
dude.
Gans.
Look. That's where the corn's going to be planted.
You
How
got it
can you
upside
tell?
down.
Wait, I have it upside down?
No, that's not upside down.
Well, it's right side up to you. It was upside down when you flipped it to show it to the camera.
Really?
Oh, did I go like this?
Yeah.
Oh. The plans!
I'm going to go show the plan to somebody else. Sorry, that's a 10 Things I Hate About You reference.
Oh. Quality movie there.
Yeah, really good.
Yeah.
I watched it like a month ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Angel and I have been going back and watching many of the movies that we loved as teenagers. I also watched The Matrix recently.
Ooh. Yeah.
Yeah.
How's it hold up?
It's great.
Is it still the greatest?
I mean, I watched it and remembered why it's my favorite movie of all time.
Peak cinema right there?
It's so
The Matrix
good.
is interesting because I think it holds up for our generation still. We
'Cause of-
rewatch it and we're like, yeah, this
That's
is
what the
so
world
good.
is right now.
And
Well, the whole movie is a warning about AI.
but I also think that it doesn't really connect with younger generations.
Because they love AI. They want AI.
Also, there's less of the corporate, like, stuck in a cubicle type. Like, they don't really resonate with that sort of thing.
Also, younger generations are dumber than us.
That's true.
So they don't appreciate
Yeah.
good cinema. No, the whole movie, like the premise of it is AI destroyed the human race.
That's
Yeah,
true.
Exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, that was a fun talk.
Yeah, it was a good talk. Hey, we've switched things up.
We have, yeah. So we just so people know, we discussed it, and with some input from some outside sources.
We discussed it. We're not disgusted.
Yeah,
Very similar sounds there.
very similar.
Yeah.
We
Just wanted to
decided
distinguish with that.
that we were going to put the local sports portion of the show at the beginning.
What?
That way, people that are here just for the local sports portion don't have to
Delortion.
wait through us talking about things they don't care about
But-
in like regional sports or national
You
sports.
know what that means, though?
What?
Lots of people aren't going to listen to us after that.
I don't care.
Oh,
We
man.
really do that portion of the show for ourselves more than we
Justin
do it
does
for
his
anyone
best
else.
to alienate the audience anyway.
That's a fair point. I
Yes.
really do.
That's true.
Anyway, this is The Scrimmage. I'm Justin Domashevitz.
I'm Daniel Hargrove.
Trusty producer Andrew Gross is here with us, as well as a bunch of chicks chirping in the background.
Bunch of them. Just chirping.
Yeah.
Chicks.
Yeah.
Chirping.
So instead of getting
Dude,
things
everybody
going...
has chicks right now. My
Yeah.
brother has chicks, too.
Really?
Yeah.
How many?
6.
What breed?
6 chicks. I don't know. There's
Oh.
2 black ones, 3 red ones, and a golden-looking one.
Oh. Like a golden goose?
Are those chicken chicks?
Yes, chicken chicks, not turkey chicks.
Nice.
Yeah,
I'd eat a turkey.
me too.
Instead of getting things going with the 2-minute drill.
Oh,
Let's get things going with the local sports roundup.
That's
Nope,
not the
Stump
right
Daniel.
sound.
Yep, there we go. Montesano's softball team won the 1A District 4 title 5-3 over Seton Catholic on Saturday in Centralia. Alyssa Maldonado hit a solo home run for the Bulldogs, while Allie Parkin and Carson Wintrip each recorded 2 hits. Riley Timmons pitched all 7 innings for Monty, allowing just 4 hits and striking out 20 batters.
Whoa!
That's some Jesse Gilbert numbers right there. The Bulldogs opened the district tourney with a 23-0 win over Castle Rock, then beat Hoquiam 13-0 in a semifinal. Parkin went 2 for 4 in the win over Hoquiam with a double, a dinger, and 4 RSBI, while Timmons pitched a 5-inning no-hitter and recorded 2 hits and 2 RSBI. Timmons also recorded 2 hits in the win over Castle Rock, scoring twice and driving in 2 runs. Addie Kersker went 4 for 4 in that game with 4 runs, 3 RSBI, and 3 stolen bases. Parkin went 3 for 4. Typical Allie Parkin, just hits left and right.
Yep.
3 for 4 with 4 RSBI, and Kylie Wisdom went 3 for 4 with 3 runs and 4 RSBI.
Elma opened the district softball tournament with a 15-5 win over White Smelman. The then fell to Schmeaton Catholic 14-8 in the semifinal. The Eagles bounced back in a big way with a 24-10 win over La Center. God, couldn't think of a name quick enough.
La Smelter.
Yeah, more than like, nah, I gotta workshop that one. Then an 8-5 win over Hoquiam to place 3rd and qualify for the state tourney. Lindsay Bednarik went 4 for 4 against Hoquiam with 3 runs and 4 RSBI. Raylan Weld went 4 for 5 with a run and 3 RSBI. In the win over La Center, Emmy Spencer went 3 for 4 with a double, a homer, 4 runs scored, and 3 driven in. Whichever Weld sister was playing left field went 4 for 4 in that game with a home run, 4 runs, and 6 RSBI. And the win over White Salmon, Raylan Weld went 4 for 4. What if that one was Raylan too?
No.
3 runs and a stolen base. It was a different one. And Aubrey Simmons went 4 for 4 with 2 runs and an RBI. Spencer and Bednarik hit dingers in that game, as did Mia Monroe.
I have to apologize to whichever Weld sister was playing left field that went 4 for 4 because this stuff all happened on Saturday, so there was no newspaper articles. I got all the stats from Game Changer, and it's just a Weld. And there's 2 Weld sisters that both start with an A.
So not
and
R.
there's no way to tell which is which. But I know which ones that Raylan Weld did.
Well, you know it was a Weld.
It was a Weld.
A Weld.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So sorry to the Welds.
Yep.
Hoquiam opened the district softball tourney with a 15-2 win over La Center before losing to Montesano. The Grizzlies then stayed alive with a 16-6 win over Eatonville before falling to Elma in the 3rd place game. In the win over Eatonville, Faith Prosh went 3 for 4 with a double, a home run, 3 runs, and 4 RSBI, as well as a stolen base. I think it's a major bummer for Hoquiam to have been 4th in that. That district is so tough.
Yeah.
With all the Monty and Elma and all these teams in there that are just really competitive. And they came just a few runs shy of making the state tournament.
Yep. You know, my wife brought up how much she hates RSBI and yet totally understands why it should be that instead of RBIs.
It's really because we're obnoxious that we say that.
Yeah, that's true, but it doesn't make any sense. Like, RBIs doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't.
Anyway, Aberdeen came up.
Run batted ins.
Ins. What if it's run batted in? Aberdeen came up just shy of a district softball title on Friday with a 2-1 loss over WF West. The Bobcats opened the tournament with a 16-3 win over Ridgefield before topping Tumwater in a semifinal 5-4, avoiding the lower part of the bracket and securing a state tourney berth. In the win over Ridgefield, Lainey Yakovich and Lily Campus went. Is it Campus?
I put Campo, but it's actually
Campus.
Camp.
No, it's camp. There you go.
There's an
Really
extra
camp.
O in there. Sorry about that.
I added a letter instead of subtracting a letter. I knew that wasn't right.
Not Campo.
Yeah, not Campo. They each went 4 for 4. Yakovich scored 4 runs, while Camp scored once, drove in a run, and stole a base. Britton Neal went 3 for 4 with 3 runs and 2 RSBI. Cheyenne Patrick went 2 for 3 with a home run and 3 RSBI. In the win over Tumwater, Annika Hollingsworth and Alyssa Yakovich led the way with 3 hits apiece, with Yakovich driving in 3 runs. Lainey Yakovich provided an offensive bright spot against WF West with 3 hits.
And if for anyone who's wondering, the seeding committees have put together the state brackets, and we will review those after the local sports roundup is over for softball. Acosta, PL Willapa Valley, and Raymond South Bend each had some success in the 2B District 4 softball tournament last week. Acosta and PWV each earned a state tourney berth by finishing 3rd and 4th respectively, and RSB won an opener against Napavine 12-3 before being knocked out by losses to eventual district champ Adna and PWV.
Chase Ferrier says Alea was in left field.
Thank you, Chase.
And he said Alea's home run against La Center was a grand salami.
That's awesome.
Nukes.
All the Welds just doing great things out
Yes.
there for the Eagles.
How much fun would that be to be on a team
So
with 2
fun.
siblings? I mean, nuts. I might have gotten in a lot of fights, though.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think that would have been good for you.
We're better now.
Yeah.
Acosta opened the tournament with a 7-4 win over Turtle Lake, then fell to Toledo 1-0. The Wildcats bounced back with a 12-0 win over Ilwaco and a 2-0 win over Onalaska before beating PWV 2-0 in the 3rd place game. Jesse Gilbert threw 2 no-hitters, of course, for the Wildcats and allowed just 1 earned run while pitching all 35 2/3 innings, striking out 82 batters. How do you throw 35 2/3 innings?
There was an extra inning game. Huh?
But why is it 2/3? Did
Because
they lose?
lost on the final
Oh, they
out.
lost in the final.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Gotcha. So it was a walk-off.
Yeah.
Okay. I was thinking, well, if
A
they were,
walk-off scored on a pass ball,
I was, oh,
which was the genesis of me asking you that question
gotcha.
earlier.
Understand. That whole thing makes sense now. She struck out 82 batters.
Across 5 games.
What? Gilbert also went 5 for 11. Hey, they pitched to her some
A little
at the
bit.
plate with a double, 3 home runs, 7 runs scored, 7 RSBI, and 8 walks. Jesse's teammates also stepped up at different times throughout the tourney. Bryn Erasmus recorded 3 hits against PWV, while Joanna Rosander had 2. Zaida Morales hit a 2-run double against Onalaska, which ended up being the difference in the game. Rosander went 3 for 4 against Ilwaco with a double, a home run, 4 runs scored, and 4 RSBI.
It's a huge game.
That's awesome. Rasmus Morales and Jolissa Schlegel each added 2 hits in that game in the win over Tootle Lake, which there's no lake called Tootle, by the way. 8 different players recorded at least 1 hit, including doubles by Rasmus Samantha Schlegel and Jolissa Schlegel. Whew.
PL Willapa Valley opened the district tourney with a 4-2 loss to Onalaska, then beat RSB 6-4 to stay alive. The Titans then beat Toledo to lock up a state berth and finished 4th with a loss to Acosta. In the win over Toledo, Jillian Hodel went 2 for 3 with 2 runs, 3 RSBI, and 2 stolen bases. Lauren Matlock went 2 for 3 with 3 runs and a steal, and Carly Phelps went 3 for 4 with 2 doubles, 1 run scored, and 3 driven in. Addison Merkel added a solo home run. In the win over RSB, Phelps hit a solo dinger, and Rylan Channel led the Titans with 3 hits. Tyler Keaton, former Athlete of the Week Tyler Keaton, went 2 for 4 with a double, a run, and 2 RSBI.
And just after I received a text that said, "Is the whole show softball?" we transitioned to track. Oakwam's Jane Roloff and Montesano's Jeremy Bayless headlined a plethora of local athletes who qualified for the state meet with their performances at the 1A District 4 Championship meet on Thursday in Vancouver. Montesano's girls track team won the district title. Its boys team took second, while Monty boys para-athlete team took first on the strength of the district titles by Jeremy Bayless, better known as MC, in the 100, 200, and 400. Roloff continued her absolute dominance this season with district titles in the 3,200, 1,600, and 800. Here's a roundup of every local athlete who qualified to compete at the state meet in Yakima next week.
On the boys' side, Elma's Richie Guadarrama, I apologize if I pronounced that incorrectly, Richie super fast. He won the 100 with a time of 11.12.
Whoa!
And the 200 at 22.57. Then teamed up with Jackson Schneider, Dayton Brookins, and Cohen Finch to take second in the 4x1 relay. Brookins also qualified for state with a third-place finish in triple jump. Montesano's Sean Straka won the shot put with a personal best throw of 46 feet 11 inches. Monty's 4x4 relay team of Peyton Domashevitz, no relation, Jarrell Bayless, Mason Rasmussen, and Jesse Anderson took first. Domashevitz also qualified for state in the 100 with a personal best time of 11.44. Anderson took second in the 400. Jesse's brother Benny Anderson qualified for state in the 1600 and the 32 with second and third place finishes respectively. A couple of local hurdlers will compete at state in the 300-meter hurdles. Elma's Ryder Nelson placed second, and Hoquiam's Oliver Bryson took third. Montesano's Gabe Bodwell placed second in the high jump and took third in the jav with a personal best throw of 170 feet 9 inches. And his teammate Pau Suranak placed third in pole vault.
Yeah, Bodwell took second in the high jump, huh?
Yeah. There's a kid from
Interesting.
Seton Catholic that jumped to 6'4".
Ooh, wow.
Yeah.
That's silly. On the girls' side, Montesano's Haley Schweppe finished second behind Roloff in the 800 and 1600, and Samantha Schweppe finished second behind Roloff in the 3200. The Schweppe girls then teamed up with Elena Olson and Michaela Stanfield to take third in the 4x400. Olson also won the triple jump state title and took third in the long jump.
The long jump.
Stanfield also qualified for state in the javelin with a second place finish. I know it's a javelin.
Okay.
Sam Roundtree.
Like a raccoon.
Yes, a raccoon. Sam Roundtree will compete at state in both hurdles events after a second place finish in the 300 hurdles and third in the 100 hurdles, both PRs. Haley McElroy earned a spot at state in the 100 with a time of 12.94. Hoquiam's Sydney Gordon took third in the shot put, and her teammate Haley Johnner took third in the high jump. Elma's Georgia Burkhart took third in the triple jump.
It's crazy to me that Michaela Stanfield, I mean, it shouldn't be crazy because she's a great athlete, but it's crazy that she just decided, I'm going to do track this year. And then she comes in and, like, she had a bad day on Jav and still qualified for state. She can win it easily if she has her best throw.
You know, that's what they say. Fast pitch players just are actual dominant athletes. Isn't that typical? Baseball players could just walk onto a track anywhere.
No.
You couldn't see David Ortiz just hopping onto a track running the 100 meters.
Cecil Fielder in the high jump.
Yes.
Grace Harbor, that's going to be our next game, is think of the baseball players you'd most like to see do track events.
Most like to, or
How
would
about
be good at it?
Ichiro in shot put?
In shot put?
Yeah.
I would think Ichiro and Jav would be
No,
awesome.
I'm trying to think of things they'd be really out of place in, like
Oh.
Cecil Fielder in the high jump. Or pole vault. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, anyway. Grace Harbor golfers teamed up to take 9 of the top 10 spots, including all 6 state berths at the 1A District 4 Girls Golf Championships on Tuesday at Tumwater Valley Golf Course. Defending 1A state champion Montesano's Haley Blankus shot a 2-day total of 151 to win the district title. Elma's Olivia Moore shot a 161, which was good enough for second place and helped lead the Eagles to the team district title.
Dang, those are two really good days.
Yeah. Elma's Sophia Hamilton took third, and teammates Camberly Burgess and Aubrey Moore took fifth and sixth, respectively. Hoquiam's Ava Jump took fourth. Two things that Grace Harbor is great at: girls golf and fast pitch.
It's so true. Montesano's baseball season came to an abrupt end last Saturday, shockingly to me, with a 4-2 district loss against La Center. Oh, don't like La Center. Camden Taylor pitched all 6 innings, allowing just 1 earned run on 2 hits and 2 walks. That's painful.
Yeah.
Cole Keesbew led the Bulldogs with 2 hits and scored both runs. Bodie Poehler, Zach Timmons, and Tyson Perry each recorded a hit, and Jackson Wilson and Marcus Hale each drove in a run. Bodie Poehler was named co-MVP of the league. Camden Taylor, Skylar Bovey, Jackson Wilson, and Torrin Kreitz earned first-team All-League honors. Zach Timmons, Tyson Perry, and Colton Grubb made the second team.
Elma's baseball season also came to an end last week with an 8-0 loss to La Center. Brody Palmer and Grant Vesey each recorded 2 hits in the game for the Eagles. 7 Elma players earned All-League honors. TJ Dunlap, Carter Studer, and Grant Vesey are first team. And Easton Wright, Ethan Camus, Brody Palmer, and Isaac McGaffey are second team.
You know, baseball's super weird tournament. Like, everybody else goes from, like, districts to state.
Yeah.
And do they call regional state in baseball like the other things? But there's only 8 teams that go to that next round.
Yeah.
Everyone else, it's like at least 12, if not 16.
Right.
But in baseball, it's 8. So it's really, really freaking hard to get to the next round.
Really hard.
Montesano's boys soccer season ended in heartbreaking fashion on Tuesday with a 2-1 state opener loss to La Jolla. Don't like La Jolla either. Levi Clement scored for the Bulldogs in the 65th minute off an assist from Felix Romero. However, La Jolla scored on a PK in the 80th minute. Then again in stoppage time for the win.
Yep.
Oh.
83rd minute technically is what I think it was.
Oh.
Such a and it's the second time this year that they lost a game like that with 2 goals in stoppage time.
Oh, that's brutal.
That's going to do it for the local sports roundup. We are in
Brought to you by Roundup.
Yeah.
Spray poison. Get better. Wait, what?
Yep. You nailed it. That was a long roundup, and we're in playoffs, and so we're kind of used to like the field narrowing down a little bit at this point.
Yeah.
There's so much action. Like the amount of Grays Harbor and Pacific County athletes who have advanced, and I didn't even have time to go through and get track results from 2B
Yeah.
or 2A.
Right.
Like I just flat out, I spent 2 hours on the roundup because there was so little information I needed in the newspaper that I was having to dig it up from other sources.
Yep.
I spent a lot of time and I just flat out ran out of time. So I apologize to the track athletes from 2A and 2B. I guarantee you, if you qualified for state, we're going to talk about next week. We'll talk about what things you accomplished there.
I call them trackleets.
Trackleets?
Yeah.
Not triathletes?
I call them trackleets.
Okay.
It's either triathlete. Like I like what you did.
Trackleets.
And I was like, that's different from what I did because I went trackleets.
Trackathletes.
Oh. No, I don't like that.
Raccoons.
Raccoon?
Daniel, when we were on our way out here,
Dragoons.
I was called a raccoon. I was saying raccoons, but I said it raccoon.
Yeah.
And Daniel got really stuck on it.
I did. I stopped your whole story.
You did.
And I was like, hey, what is it? What do you call those animals that look like bank robbers?
Yeah.
Trash
Raccoons.
pandas.
There we
That
go.
works too. Although I was telling you a story about how I got attacked by a bear.
Yeah.
And you actually paid attention. When I tried to tell Andrew the story the other day about how I got attacked by a bear, he dismissed me so fast. Does he look offended?
No, he doesn't look like he's
doesn't
I don't
care
paying
at
it.
all.
He's not
remember
even.
that.
He's not even
Yeah.
paying attention to you now either.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, Justin
Just starts talking, and I kind of fade gray.
That's pretty much what happened. I walked by Andrew, and I was like, hey, did I tell you I got attacked by a bear yesterday? And he was like, oh, cool. And then he never said another word, didn't ask a follow-up. And I was like, all right then. And I just sort of walked away.
Yeah. So seeing that you told me this story today,
Yeah.
not of how you got attacked by a bear, but the first thing you said was, hey, I'm going to tell you the story of me telling Andrew about when I got attacked by a bear.
Yeah, which is he didn't care at all.
Yeah.
Of course, I was totally physically fine. So if I had told him, hey, I got attacked by a bear, and I had a giant scratch across my face, then he might have responded.
Maybe.
No, he
But
didn't look at me. I don't
He
think.
probably wouldn't have noticed the
No,
scratch
he
in
wouldn't
your
have
face.
noticed. No. Or if I was
Francis
missing
said
a
a couple
leg.
of things that I don't care about baseball.
Okay.
And then he said Trash Panda happens to be the name of a disc golf manufacturer. probably
it's also a minor
because
league baseball team.
I was gonna say that's probably how disc golf got started. They were digging trash out of a can, and then somebody threw an old frisbee at the can, and it went in, and they were like, disc golf!
Francis is still kind of mad at me, actually.
Is he?
Yeah.
Wait, he's mad at you?
Yeah, because I sent him a very demeaning Instagram reel about disc golf.
I know, but I thought what he did to you was, like, over that.
Yeah, it was.
So
But
I would think you would be mad at him.
As far as he knows, I don't know if he even knows that I saw it. We never talked about it, and by the time I got back to the place where the infraction was committed, it was gone.
Oh,
so he was a coward, really, because he put up a
He
picture.
was herding cows.
He put up, yeah. He put up a picture of me wearing a Duke shirt in a place where there would be foot traffic and people would see it.
Yeah.
And then by the time I could actually get back to that place to see it, he had taken it down.
Are you sure he took it down?
Well, decent people everywhere would be offended by a Duke shirt, so it is possible someone else took it down. But anyway, we're getting kind of in the weeds on this.
Yes.
I want to talk about softball seating.
Right.
And then I want to talk about the district track tournament. Or track meet.
Interesting softball seating.
So let's
Blew
start.
me away, Justin.
Let's start with 2B. Let's start with 2B.
Let's start with 2B.
We have
Continued.
a couple of teams from our local area who.
Chase says, I want to see that picture.
Yeah, no.
It was a still from the show a few weeks ago.
Yeah, Chase, if you watched the show a few weeks ago, then you'll see what I will poorly try to
We
show you now.
don't need to expand. We don't need to give Chase any further information to help him with what he's trying to do here.
Are you sure?
Acosta softball, on the strength of not only Jesse Gilbert's performance, but as we mentioned in the roundup, a huge amount of teammates stepping up.
Huge.
They get the 7 seed after finishing third, but the game that they lost in the district tournament went 2 extra innings. And it was that weird thing where it's like, this game's going on too long, we're going to throw a runner on second.
I hate that.
That runner, there's 2 outs. I don't remember exactly how. It was like a pop-up and a ground out or something. So there was 2 outs. But then that runner stole third.
Sorry.
This is not a picture that people need to see. It's me in a Duke shirt. It's fine.
There you go.
That doesn't have to live forever. It's okay. That runner stole third and then scored on a pass ball, and then the game was over. So 1 out away from extending the game. I think it was in the 9th inning at that point. So 1 out away from extending it further, but because they put a fake ghost runner on second, they end up losing the game. Jesse was phenomenal in that game, pitching-wise. But, you win some, you lose some, and occasionally you're going to have a day where you can't get any offense going. That was that. That game was against Toledo.
Oh,
so Toledo
interesting.
Is the one game.
Well, now you're going old school. You just brought up a piece of paper with scrawlings of a madman on it.
This is very Daniel Hargrove-esque.
If
anybody is looking at it, I decided I wanted to keep track of all of Jesse Gilbert's stats from the district tournament. The only game they lost was Toledo. It was 1-0, and it went into the 9th inning. So 2 extra innings. And Jesse struck out 19 batters in that game.
Holy crap.
And allowed 0 earned runs, I guess, which is part of why I was trying to, I was asking you, does a pass ball count as an earned run? Because in the official box score, it not only didn't count as an earned run, it wasn't listed as a run. It showed that they lost 1-0, but that nobody scored.
That's so weird.
Because I'm assuming it's because the runner hadn't earned their way on base, so it tripped out. The box score was that doesn't count for anything.
That's so weird.
Also, if any of the stats are inaccurate, I got all of the softball stats from Game Changer, so it's not my fault. It's the team's fault.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is an interesting matchup for Acosta because they're going to go face Toledo, which is the one team they lost to.
Yeah.
But then Toledo went and lost to PL Willapa Valley and then had to win the 5th place game to get into state. But Acosta beat PL Willapa Valley in the 3rd place game. So all these teams are so close to each other.
Right.
I feel like this tournament's going to be nuts.
Bonkers.
There's going to be some really crazy stuff that happens, and every game is going to be hard. Also, worth noting, Adna is in their district, and they're the number 1 seed overall.
Yeah.
After winning the district title. So, Acosta, really interesting to see what happens there. PL Willapa Valley gets the 8 seed. They'll play against number 9 Northwest Christian. The tough part there is that the winner of that game faces Adna, because Adna with the 1 seed gets the first round bye,
Right.
and then whoever wins that game will face Adna. If Acosta beats Toledo, they'll face the Okanagan. So
Also really good.
also really good. They're the 2
2
seed.
seed.
So we'll see what happens there. I think those two teams are both really good. Bummer for RSB that they didn't get out of this district, but like the district's insane.
Yeah.
And also like it's reflected that there's 12 teams in this state 2B tournament, and 5 of them come from that district.
Yeah, it's nuts.
So there's a lot more participation in softball in this district than there are in others. Moving on to 1A, the number 1 seed overall after winning the league and then the district title is Montesano. No real huge surprise there. They're the reigning champion. They were the 1 seed last year as well.
They come out of a good league, out of a good district.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Great league, great district, and they're perennially, probably the best softball program in the state.
History,
Yeah, so
most likely,
yeah. I think I saw that it's their 24th state berth
in 25 years.
in 25 years.
Yeah.
They had the 1 year that they missed.
That was super weird.
Really weird. But they bounced right back.
Yep.
And they've won a state title since then. I think is it like 10? Have they won like 10 state titles or 9 or something like that?
It's silly.
Pretty crazy amount of state titles. So Montesano getting the number 1 overall seed. We talk about them every week. We still haven't named an athlete of the week from that team, but it's because
so
there's
hard.
so many gosh darn players who
They're so
contribute all the
balanced.
time.
They're
We
so
do have
balanced.
we do have one in our nominees list this week. So
There we go.
they will have a bye in the first round, and then in the second round they'll play the winner of Clajoya and Royal. Royal, actually, that's the team they beat in the state title game last year. So that could be an interesting matchup as well. And then Elma, being the 3 seed, or the 3rd place team out of the District 4 tournament, is the 5 seed in the state tournament. So that tells you how much the seeding committee valued the teams from this area, that Seton Catholic and Elma, being the 2nd and 3rd best team, are seeded 5th and 6th here in the state tournament. So we could, conceivably, Elma's got to play Lakeside. Lakeside's the 12, and then Cedar Park Christian is the 4. So Elma would have to win a couple of games, but we could see a Monty-Elma semifinal.
As soon as you posted this on Facebook, I was like, "Oh, Monty Elma semifinal."
That would be really cool.
That was gonna be awesome.
That would be super awesome. And it's also like it is so possible.
Oh yeah.
This Elma team is really good. They've got a lot of pop. I think they had 2 different games in the district tournament where 3 different players hit a home run. So they've got a lot of really, really quality bats, and they can score a lot of runs on you and surprise you.
Well, not only do they have 3 Welds, but they also have Emmy Spencer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She was one of the players who hit a home run. And there was a game this year, although Monty did sweep the league, Elma played Monty within 1 run. I think there was a game they played where Elma lost 7-8 against Monty.
Yeah.
So if we're saying the number 1 team is Monty in the whole state for 1A, and Monty also has a win over Aberdeen, which is, we'll talk about in a minute, is the number 3 seed in 2A, and Elma was within 1 run of Monty in a regular season game. So this Elma team, absolutely capable of doing something really big in the tournament. And then this is the one that I think I was a little surprised when I saw what the seeding, pleasantly surprised,
Yes.
but surprised when I saw the seeding.
We're not used to being pleasantly surprised by seedings
Yeah.
in Grace Harbor.
Yeah.
Usually we're like, hey, we got jobbed.
Yeah.
That's kind of our running refrain. But not only do we get the 1 seed in Montesano in 1A,
Yeah.
but also Aberdeen gets the 3 seed in the 2A state tournament.
Yeah.
And when I saw this, knowing how their season's been going, that they've been battling against Tumwater and WF West, but mixed results in both of those matchups, I was like, oh, they must have won their district tournament. But they didn't.
No, they didn't win. They finished 3rd in league.
Yeah.
And it is kind of weird the way that the league
tough
structure
league.
is. Super tough league. I mean, first of all, the Evergreen 2A league swept all 4 of the district spots into state.
Yeah.
So between WF West, Tumwater, Aberdeen, and Rochester, that was all the District 4 spots. They all came from the Evergreen 2A league.
Yeah,
So
even
the
Rochester
league is
made it
really
in there.
the league is really good. The district's really good. 3 of the top 6 teams seated here came from the Evergreen 2A league. The only reason that this felt surprising to me is because Although I'll admit it's weird because like these teams played each other 4 times and they didn't all count as league games.
Yeah.
So I don't really understand what the breakdown is of like which ones counted as league and which ones didn't and how that affected the standings.
I think the last game they played against Tumwater, I remember seeing that it was a non-league game.
Yeah.
And they won that one.
So things they probably just didn't fall in Aberdeen's favor as far as which ones were league and which ones were non-league. But as far as I could tell, looking at the season record, Aberdeen went 2-2 against Tumwater. They went 2-2 against WF West. They technically finished 3rd in the league standings.
Yep.
They finished 2nd in district, yet they get a seed that's 2 spots higher than WF West and 3 spots higher than Tumwater.
So weird.
It's weird, but like I like
it.
I like it and I get it. The RPI has loved Aberdeen all year. You know, they did play tough games. They beat Adno, which is the number 1 2B team.
Yep.
They played against Monty. They lost by only 1 run, 2-3 in a really tough game there.
Yep.
I understand why they have 2 players who are committed to play D1 ball. They're really good.
Yeah.
I was just like I'm used to these seeding things coming out, and I was fully bracing myself for like an 8 seed.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna complain about how Aberdeen's underrated, but instead they get a 3 seed, which I think they deserve. Like they're that good.
Absolutely.
But I was pleasantly surprised when I saw the seeding come out.
Absolutely. I think this is good as they could have hoped for.
Absolutely.
And so it's not outrageous.
No.
But if you're looking at it and you're like, okay, they're
if I was
probably
WF West, I'd be mad.
Oh, yeah. If I was WF West, I'd be pissed. But
Yeah.
you know what? I'm fine with it.
Who cares?
Yeah. It's about time that Aberdeen gets a nugget here.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited. I can't wait for this tournament to get going and to see if they can not only knock off Enumclaw in their opener, but then Tumwater in the second game and just see where the chips fall after that.
And that's where it's kind of interesting because, like, you got the 3 seed and that's great, but you end up facing Tumwater in the second round.
Exactly.
If everything happens the way it should, you end
Yeah.
up facing Tumwater in the second round anyway.
Exactly.
So you're going to find out really quickly which teams are the best here.
And then they could end up facing WF West in the game after that.
Absolutely.
Wait,
So,
is that how the bracket works?
oh wait, does it go up and down? No,
I
I
don't
think
know.
that would have to be a final between
Okay,
them and WF
okay,
West.
so it's 2 sides of it. Okay, yeah, you're right. I'm pretty sure you're right.
Yeah, because the 1 would play the 4, and the 2 would play the 3. Yeah.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
good call. Anyway,
But maybe if Rochester upsets North Kitsap and then the winner of Clarkson Franklin Pierce,
There we
we
go.
could have an Aberdeen Rochester semifinal, and then an Aberdeen WF West final.
dude, that would be hilarious. The 3 out of their 4 state games they play against the Evergreen 2A.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
That'd just be hilarious.
So anyway, like this was a team too. Like this was pinpointed as this Aberdeen team's really good. They were excellent last year. Won a state trophy. Returned a ton of talent, and then throw Annika Hollingsworth, who was already there but wasn't eligible to play yet
she had
as
to
a
play
transfer.
JV. Yep.
Throw Annika Hollingsworth in to pair with the Lily Camp, and I think also like having 2 absolute stud ace pitchers.
Yeah.
With Camp and Hollingsworth, I've seen a lot of times where not to say it's not the same as baseball arms, but like physical fatigue.
Yeah.
When you have one pitcher that just carries you. Sometimes they'll start to fade down. Not if they're a machine like Jesse Gilbert.
Yeah.
But I've seen it sometimes when one pitcher has to carry you, they'll start to fade down the stretch. And Aberdeen will not have to worry about that because they have 2 pitchers that are absolute studs.
Exactly. It should help them a ton because softball tournaments are like basketball tournaments, even more so.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird? Like, don't they play multiple games in a day in fast pitch?
Yeah, I think some of the teams.
Why don't they do that in basketball?
That's a good question. I don't know. I mean,
Like,
they do
all
it in
growing up, you
AAU
play
weekend
multiple
tournaments,
games
yeah.
a day, and then the state tournament for basketball, they're like, we can only have 12 teams in Yakima because we have to only play 1 game a day.
Yeah.
Sorry.
WIA.
Anyway.
We don't need to talk about the basketball.
Okay.
But I will say, I like to give the WIAA its due where I can.
Okay. I like to give them their don't when they can.
Yeah, I know. Well, we criticize them with things that they don't do well.
Right.
Which is pretty much everything.
Which is a lot of stuff. They do an incredible job with the way they put forth information.
That's true.
Their social medias are great. They've made bracket releases really exciting.
Yep.
giving you the time that they're going to drop. And like this, it's all really fun. They put out great graphics. They do a good job with the public facing image of what they're putting out. So kudos to the WIAA. Now just fix the basketball tournament.
Yes.
Please.
Yes, please. And don't further ruin the football tournaments.
Yeah.
Because I think we have some fixing to do there.
Yeah.
Now, too.
So we'll have state softball next week to talk about.
Yes. When's the state track meet?
It's Wednesday through Saturday.
So we'll have that to talk about, too.
Yes, we will.
Are you going to make the trip? Because
Yeah.
Peyton Tomaszewicz, unrelated, is going to be heading over.
We are discussing the possibility of going for Saturday.
Because he's in the 4x4, right?
He's running the 100 and the 4x4.
I forgot he qualified for the 100 too.
Yes, he did. He ran
Nice.
an 11.44, which was a personal best by like almost 0.2 seconds.
Nice.
Which I think is a couple of reasons. One is because like qualifying and running with some of these really fast guys at district, you always run best in sprinting, especially when you're running with somebody
Right.
who's fast. But also, for some reason, man, it doesn't count as wind aided, I think, because there's different ratings for wind.
Okay.
So it doesn't count as like, it doesn't have an asterisk next to it because it's wind aided.
Right.
But a lot of sprinters are PRing at Seton Catholic. I don't know
Interesting.
why.
It's one of those fast timers.
Because Peyton finished 5th,
Right.
but they have these automatic qualifying times for state now, so
Right.
that if you're really good, regardless of how good the rest of you could be great, but there's 3 great guys ahead of you. But one of the things that WIAA has done is like, well, you can finish 5th or 6th and technically you wouldn't qualify, but if you go under this time, then you still qualify. So he finished 5th, but still qualified for state because of the time that he ran. Like pretty comfortably, actually.
Yeah.
Qualified for state with the time that he ran.
Nice.
So, with that said, he is like 18th out of 2,300 runners. Like he's really fast, and he belongs there.
Right.
But there are guys that are at state that are going to run sub 11.
23 100-meter runners.
Yeah.
He's 18th out of 2,300 runners.
Yeah. No,
Okay.
23 boys who run the 100 meters.
Gotcha.
So it would be like if he qualified for the finals in the 100 meter, that'd be amazing. But we're really focused on the 4x4 because Monty's 4x4 team is ranked 5th in the state right now. So they have a pretty good chance to get on the podium, pretty good chance to make it to the finals. And the finals for 4x4 are like one of the last events, if not the last event, at the end of the day on Saturday.
Nice.
So discussing the possibility of going on Saturday just to watch the 4x4 finals, but we have to find out first if they actually make it to those finals. So
Right.
I don't know if I'm going to be there. I've never been to state track before,
Yeah.
but I think it would be pretty exciting to go.
Yeah.
And there's tons of local athletes that I'd love to watch.
Absolutely. Yeah, it'd be so much fun.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk more about the district
I want to talk
track
a little.
meet?
I want to talk about a few things at the district meet.
Okay.
One is Jane Roloff.
How can you not?
Because, like, I got to say a couple things. One is Jane didn't run any of her best times, but she's a triple champion in the 3 longest races.
Yeah.
So, like,
Triple champ.
triple champ.
Can't triple champ and double champ.
She ran the 2 mile,
Tell Jane Roloff that.
the 1 mile, and the half a mile.
Yeah.
She ran 3.5 miles competitively in races.
Yeah.
She won all of them fairly comfortably. Like, there was
one where somebody else was in the picture.
Yeah.
They weren't close in the picture, but there was one where I was like, hey, you can see someone behind her.
My impression of what Jane did was I'm gonna do exactly what I need to do to win these titles, but she could have been way faster. So, but she really wanted to qualify. She's gonna feel like she has so much rest when she goes to state because things are actually spread out over the course of multiple days.
Oh wait, so
It's a 4-day meet.
so she doesn't have to run all 3 of those races on the same day?
I don't think so.
That's huge.
Yeah, I think they're spread out.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
I'd have to go in and look at the actual schedule, but I think they're spread out. So I think she's gonna be.
She's not going to know what to do with herself.
Yeah. Well, she's just gonna run in
Yeah.
all the in between times when. But so
She'll run to her hotel.
number one,
which
yeah.
she'll probably like permanently stay at the lodge on White Pass.
Yeah.
And then she'll run down to Yakima for the meet.
I think I heard, don't quote me on this, she was less than a second away from breaking one of the meet records, even though she was obviously not going her fastest.
That's nuts.
She's such a machine.
Yeah.
She's so dominant at this point. I had a really good long conversation with our friend Tiggy.
Right.
And he said he thinks she's only lost any race twice all season. And she's won every other race.
That's crazy.
Which is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So anyway, Jane Roloff, great athlete. She really messes everything up by being an incredibly likable person.
Yeah. And making great cookies.
And making great cookies, by the way. Boycott's over.
Yeah. Those were amazing.
People probably saw it on social media. We got cookies from Jane.
Yeah.
She presented them in a very friendly way, a very humble way. And it's like one of those moments, Daniel, where like I always wish you're there.
Yeah.
Because
you're
I'm
intrinsically awkward.
I'm awkward.
Yeah.
I'm awkward.
Yeah.
And I don't know what to do or say.
Yeah.
And I hope people don't feel like I don't like to talk or appreciate those, because I don't mind it at all. I'm just bad at it.
Yeah.
So anyway,
But as long as you didn't just like not make eye contact and like shuffle away into a corner,
No,
we're probably good.
I think what I said was something like,
Thank you for the cookies.
"Thank you for the cookies." Oh, hey, and congratulations, because she did this like in the middle of the meet, so she had run 2 events, and then she still had another one to run.
Yeah, she was running past. She handed you.
She
the
found me
cookies.
in the stands and came up and gave me the cookies, and I think I said something like, "Hey, congratulations on your 2 records. Go out and get that last one. I'm rooting for you." And then I was like, well, I mean, I'm rooting for the Monty kids, but I'm also rooting for you, because there's something inside of me that doesn't allow me to like just not have like it's I do this, right?
Yes. Yeah, it's what
Root
you do.
for
I have
random people and teams that you have no business rooting for.
That too, but I was meaning like more like have a nice interaction with someone and then say something weird or
to try and ruin it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do that.
Yep.
But I have to say one last thing about Jane, and then we'll move on.
Okay.
I had a great moment watching her that made me feel like a little better about myself, and like she might be human.
Oh.
In one of the races, she lined up in the wrong spot and got confused about where she was supposed to go.
Oh, really?
For like a second.
Yeah.
And then she was like, she turned around and she was like, "Oh yeah, no, here, no, oh yeah, okay, I figured it out." And then she went to where she was supposed to go, but I was like,
She's human.
There's a chink in the armor. You are not perfect. For 1 second, you forgot where you were supposed to go.
Okay, so can you describe it to me? I know so little about track.
Well, when they run
What do you mean she lined up in a...
when they run the 800, they line up staggered.
Oh,
so like
gotcha.
some of the races, I think in the 32, they like all line up in the same spot and just go.
Yeah, it's
and
kind of
then,
like a pack thing, right?
I think in the 16 they line up, but there's like a diagonal line right in front of the start line, and so there's a little bit of a stagger, but not much at all, and you're still just lined up together. But then in the 800, they actually have different starting spots.
Like the 200.
Yes, but there's different lines. There's lines,
weird.
there's arrows. Like on the track, there's all these different
so
things.
confused with all those
Yeah,
lines.
same. And then some of the arrows are like these are your baton handoff zones for the relays. It's really confusing.
So confused.
I would be lost.
Yeah.
If I had to try to figure out where to line up. But yeah, that was basically it. Another thing.
Right, really quickly.
Yeah.
I've been training for the last 3 days.
Okay.
Because I thought today we were supposed to try and run a 1600.
It's
But
just
the
my
way
knee.
Justin's knee was.
The way his leg was.
Yeah.
I thought we were going to do that today.
Yeah.
And so we were both supposed to be training for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Because you said, give me 2 weeks to train.
Yes, I did say that.
And you could beat her 3,200 time
Yeah.
in a 1600.
I still think I can do it.
I'm not sure you can do it.
I think I can.
But maybe I'm dismissing you a little bit.
You are.
I about died on Friday night trying
You're
to
out of
beat
shape.
her time. I am very out of shape. But also, it just made me marvel at the times that she runs around the track
Yeah.
in these long races and what she averages. Like in her 3,200 record time of 10 minutes and 49 seconds.
Yeah.
She's averaging like a minute 20 a lap. And I ran as hard as I could on the last lap of the one that I was trying to do.
Yeah.
And I was at like 2:15. And I was like dying.
And to make matters worse, she'll run the 32, and then she crosses the finish line. She looks at her watch, and she's fine.
Yeah, she's chilling.
To her, it's like if I were to walk from here to the door.
Yeah.
It's just everything's cool.
It's
and
nuts.
then, like one of the things that I've really enjoyed about being at track meets and watching track meets is to see the camaraderie between athletes.
Yeah.
And when I was talking to Tiggy, he reminded me, hey, it's not always this way.
Right.
Like, there are some serious, bitter rivalries. But, like, Jane...
Like in cross country.
It has such a fun friendship with the Schweppy girls.
Okay.
Like, all these dead times they're over there talking and joking and laughing together.
Yeah.
When Jane finishes the 32, like I said, everything's fine. I just ran 2 miles, no big deal.
Who cares?
She stops, she checks her watch, she turns around and immediately starts cheering for Sam Schweppy, who's coming in second place.
Yeah.
Ran 2
cheering her through to
miles
the finish line.
really fast.
She does
I
the
feel
same.
like
She does the same exact thing for Haley in the 1600. Like, I'm going to finish. Haley's right behind me. I'm going to be there to greet her at the finish line with a hug and a handshake or whatever, I really have enjoyed seeing that because we talked earlier in the year about how Jane would finish a race and then immediately go back to the finish line to cheer on her teammates that are coming up behind her.
Yeah.
She didn't have those in these races. But she had friends from a nearby school that she's developed relationships with.
Yep.
And she's cheering them on the rest of the way. So I thought that was pretty cool. I also
thought it was really funny because the first time I tried to run that time, I was over 13 minutes. And I was like, oh, this isn't good. I'm not going to be able to do this. I told Justin that we should try and run a 400 in this amount of time.
Yeah, you tried to change the game after we had already had it set.
It doesn't sound like me. I'm pretty sure I was always arguing for that.
I think at one point you said we should try to run the 400 in her 1600 time.
Okay, see,
Yeah,
that makes more
sounds
sense.
reasonable.
That makes it's still 1/4 of the time. But also
Maybe
after
we could try running a 100
in her 800 time.
Well, I was just thinking maybe we could try running the 100 in
And
her
not
100
hurting yourselves?
split.
Oh,
Because I don't think I could probably do that.
I think I would hurt myself.
But at least I could run 100 yards.
But the next time
or
I did
use
it-
either one.
I was right around 10:49, and
Yeah.
so I showed my wife the clock, and I was like, "This is how long it takes her to run twice as long." So she would have already have lapped me once, and then she would have been passing me for the second time
At the finish
this point.
line.
Based on this information, I think I'm going to beat you.
I'm really curious to
we
see how
didn't
good a
get-
shape you're in because you're so confident.
The shape is round. That's the shape.
Pear
right
is
there.
a shape.
Yeah.
We didn't get to see a bracket challenge between you two.
It's true.
So maybe we should put something on this.
Well, now I'm a
And by
little worried
we-
that I'm gonna have to like run a little hard
and
at the
by
end.
we, I mean maybe you guys should put something on this because I'm not running.
Winner
it be
gets this
stakes?
baseball.
If it's stakes,
High stakes. Is this a high stakes?
I
sort
do
of
not put
competition?
marijuana in my steak, Andrew.
Highly priced steaks.
This is the baseball I stole out of your car.
It is the baseball you still.
And I've been holding it ever since.
I
And
know.
you tried to subtly take it
I
back
did
earlier. And
not
I,
quite subtly
I
enough.
did not allow it. Anyway,
Okay.
so at some point we're going to do the Jane Roll-Off Challenge.
Right.
And it's definitely going to happen.
At some point, once Justin's knee.
It can't be next week, though, because you're
I'm
going to be gone.
I'm gonna be in Idaho.
Next week sounds good.
He's gonna dominate.
So one other thing, or a couple other things I wanted to say about district track, and I like a lot of track events are kind of hard to follow. Like it's really hard to follow the throwing events and
There's
the jumping
so
events.
much going on.
Well, don't they kind of do them individually, like throughout the day, like because they all do
Well,
it, so it's kind of going on at the same time.
At districts, they did all of it before.
Oh, okay.
Like all the throwing and jumping events, and then so all the field events happened early, and then all the track events happened after that. But typically they stagger. So like the throwing events start at like 3:45, and then the running events start at 4:15, and then everyone who's throwing fits it in between the other events that they're doing while it's going on.
It makes it almost impossible to actually tell what's happening.
Well, because
unless you're looking over the score person's
exactly,
shoulder.
exactly. Like you can watch and be like, oh, that guy threw that jab really far, but you don't really know how far and how it compares to the other people.
Right, unless it sticks in someone.
Or even if it's a prelim or a final, or right.
Gotcha.
It's just hard to tell.
Yeah, you don't know.
So the races are like the thing that draws the fans in. And this district meet ended with 2 4x4s that were like incredibly entertaining. Because a lot of the races, somebody gets out to a lead, they keep the lead, they win the race.
Yeah.
The 2 4x4s at the end were awesome because both of them involved big comebacks by some of our local teams that resulted in, for the boys, it resulted in a championship in the 4x4. And for Monty's girls, it resulted in them sneaking into third place and getting the last qualifying spot. But it was Haley Schweppe who started her last leg about, I would say, 15 to 20 meters maybe behind the person.
Nice.
And at this track, it's really hard to see the other side, especially because all the kids are in the middle and everybody else is watching from the outside.
Right.
So the kids are doing this thing where like they're running with the runners. So like there's a wave of kids running around the track. So until they hit the home stretch, you have no idea what's going on over
Right.
there. So
Those
we're
are
watching.
kids who have other running events.
We're watching.
They're just running to.
or
geez.
they already did their other events or whatever.
I love it.
But
I love it.
they're into it. Like they're
That's
trying
so-
to cheer on their teammates.
That's
and
so
everything.
cool. Yeah.
So we see Haley Schweppe start to gain some ground, and then she disappears. And then the next thing you know, we're like, where is she? Wait, I think I saw her in between some kids there. I think she took the lead. And the next thing you know, she comes around on the home stretch, and she's in front.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, wow.
Not in front. I'm sorry. In front of the person she was trying to pass.
Right,
They
right.
finished third.
Yeah.
So, but for
So
that
she's in
last
third.
qualifying spot.
Yeah.
But we knew the person she was trying to pass that she needed to pass, and it was the same thing in the boys' race. They got behind, and then Jesse Anderson is running the last leg, and they were supposed to win. Like they were the top ranked 4x4 team going into it.
Yeah.
Jesse Anderson for Monty, he's behind. We see him disappear, but we know he was gaining.
Yeah.
And then when he comes around the stretch, he's in the lead, and they win the title. It was really cool.
That's awesome.
Fun to watch, and it's
I freaking love relays, man.
relays are the best.
Relays I was gonna say in any sport, but I guess it's just the only sports I know is track and swimming.
Yeah.
But like the Michael Phelps like goldathon in those Olympics. Do you
Yeah.
remember when he was just supposed to
Winning
win like
everything, yeah.
every gold there possibly was? And he was behind after his leg of some relay, and then that old dude just came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
That was one of the most exciting moments I've ever seen on TV. Like, blew my mind. I love relays. Sorry, that was a little bit of a sidetrack.
No,
but
you're good. You're good.
I wish I could have watched that District 4x4 because that sounds awesome.
I feel like relays, it's already exciting to root for a race because you can see it developing, but relays add that extra thing where things can change throughout the race.
Yeah.
So it's not even you're rooting for one race, it's like 4 races all compressed into one.
That
Yes.
is exactly it. That's
Yeah,
why it's so
absolutely.
exciting
Yeah.
because it like all the teams build their legs differently.
Mhm.
So like a couple of the teams that
Some people use 2 calves instead of a hamstring.
yes.
Whoa.
No, like a couple of the teams will put their best runners first.
That seems
So like, Peyton's in the first leg.
Why? I'm really curious to.
I don't
learn some of the
understand.
strategy. behind
I've
some of
always
these
thought
things.
of like the
You have the
last runner
anchor.
is your anchor.
Yeah.
They're your best runner. And that's the way Monty's is built, is kind of like, Jesse is the best 400 runner.
Crap! What if I
So he
named
goes
my
last.
son Anchor and now he's destined to become a track athlete?
A track
And
lead.
he's gonna be Anchor's gonna be the anchor.
Parting shot on track.
Okay, sorry.
I gotta mention
Sorry.
Richie,
before we follow you off the rails, Dan.
Yeah.
and I'm gonna answer Chase's question in a second too.
Yeah.
Richie, I think it's pronounced Guadarrama, but I'm gonna. I don't know for sure.
Let me see. It's.
Uh,
I think you're right.
Also,
By
shout
how
out
it
to
looks.
Brain,
Richie, who?
Brian Cita.
Oh, hi Brian.
Yeah.
Richie is stupid fast.
Yeah.
He looks like he's not even trying, and he's just faster than
Wait,
everyone.
is he the kid who you said doesn't warm up?
If you talk to the other sprinters, they'll be like, yeah, we were warming up, and
Guadarrama.
Richie was kind of over there. He's got this like super chill vibe,
Right.
and
then he just
Richie's
blows your
just
doors
Richie
off.
stretched a little bit, and then he just sat in the shade. And then the race happened, and he got off to a really bad start, and then like zoomed past everybody. He's so fast, and he's a freshman.
So he
That's
needs to
awesome.
learn how to start
Also, so two
and
things.
maybe warm up.
Well,
just so that he doesn't get hurt as a sophomore.
I don't know, because the other thing is like I don't think he plays other sports.
He just hangs out and runs real fast every now and then.
But he's so like in the
this partially reminds me of like the stories of I just lost his name. The really fast guy, stupid fast, the
Usain
fastest
Bolt?
guy,
The
Usain
Flash.
Bolt.
Yeah.
In China, eating only chicken nuggets.
Yeah, because he didn't trust the food.
Because like and still being like the fastest person in the world, running on chicken nuggets, and it's like you're just what? This isn't fair.
dumb.
None
Yeah.
of this is okay.
So I'm expecting like if Richie as a freshman and he was running an 11.12 at the district meet.
Jeez.
At the league meet, he ran in the 200. I was just like, oh man, I know this kid's really fast. I'm expecting him to win.
Yeah.
Running the 200, gets off to a horrible start. He's like in the back.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, they come around the curve, and when they get on the straight stretch, it's just like, "Vrrr," he's just passing everybody. But we're gonna like keep an eye on Richie, because over the next few years, he's gonna be in that range of like the kind of sprinter that we're missing. Like the Nolan Hoynes, Jared Ronquillo, Brett Larson level. Like I'm gonna run a 10.5.
The 10-5 range.
If as a freshman he's running in the low 11s,
that's nuts.
if he keeps going after it, man, Elma track fans, watch out! That kid's gonna be burning.
That's awesome.
Also, I'm gonna answer Chase's question. He asked if I got stuck in the traffic jam in Vancouver on the way back. Yes, I did. Multiple of our local teams' buses got stuck in that and didn't get back home until like 1:30 in the morning.
What was it?
I don't know.
Oh.
But my GPS told me the highway's closed.
Oh.
So I pulled
that's
off at
not
like
good.
I pulled off at like Woodland, and I was like, I know I need to get gas and I got to get some food, so I'll stop here, and then maybe by the time I want to go back out, it'll be cleared.
Yeah.
Got food, got gas. My GPS was still telling me highway's cleared. It's trying to send me up into the mountains to get around like a half
Go
hour
the other way
half hour reroute
towards the beach.
And-
Take 101 up.
Yeah.
So it's trying to send me up into the mountains for a half hour reroute.
Right. Can you even get to 101 from Woodland?
You'd have to go south.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That makes
So
Wait, no, Woodland's south of Kelso.
Yeah.
So yeah, you'd have to go north to get to.
Yeah, so
101.
so
that's
maybe you
where
couldn't
it
get
was
to Highway
closed.
101. Anyway, so I was like,
Take
I
the back
really
roads
want.
home,
I
Justin.
really wanted to avoid
take the back
taking that
roads.
detour. So I was like, I'm just gonna go to the highway and see what happens. So I started to go to the highway, and then I started seeing a whole line of cars going the way that the GPS was trying to send me.
Yeah.
So I decided to just do it, but it was horrible. Like 20 mile an hour curvy roads in the dark at night that I don't know, and it takes you all the way up to like Kalama.
Yeah.
So you go from like Woodland to Kalama before you finally get back onto the highway.
Jeez.
It cost me like an extra half hour, 40 minutes, but the buses got stuck in it. And then
Because if you're in a bus, you're not going to be like, oh, I can save time by taking this windy off surface
and
road.
then they ended up having to do it anyway.
Oh no!
Because the highway was still closed for so long that they got rerouted and went back and had to go around. But it was like 1:30 in the morning before the buses got back.
Yeah, dude. Andrew, if you're
That's
in
brutal.
Woodland, the only way to get around that is you'd have to go all the way back down. Jeez, there's no bridges. You have to
And
go
then you have
all
to
the
go
way
into
back
Oregon,
to Vancouver.
right? Like, yeah. Oh, okay.
You have to go
to get across
the Columbia.
Yeah.
You have to go all the way back to Vancouver and then cross over.
I don't know any of those highways or roads well enough to do any of that anyway.
Exactly.
I was just following my GPS.
You know, it's funny.
So-
Every time we're in like the Klamath area and we're driving, my wife makes fun of me because one time we were driving there and she's like, "Oh, there's Oregon over there," and I'm like, "No, it's not. We're like 40 minutes from Oregon,"
Portland.
and she's like, "No, seriously."
Oregon has this little bumpy up there.
Yeah, that's Oregon across the river, you dum dum. And I didn't believe her until
Boy,
she got
are
out a
you
map
dumb.
and showed me.
It's funny because we grew up with grandparents
yeah.
and family in Kelso, so
So obviously
we know that the Columbia River is the divider.
Yeah, not just Portland.
Well, we're going to run through our Spivey Athlete of the Week nominees, but before we do that, we're going to take a quick commercial break. Do you have a legal situation and need someone on your side? Let the law office of Jeffrey A. Domashevitz be your advocate. If you've been the victim of medical malpractice, suffered a personal injury, or need representation with real estate law, small business law, or estate planning, let Jeff Domashevitz put his 29 years of experience to work for you. Call Jeff Domashevitz today at 360-612-3991 or visit domashevitzlaw.com. That's DAMASIEWICZLAW.com. Thank you for listening to or watching The Scrimmage. I'm Justin Domashevitz. My co-host Daniel Hargrove is here with me, as well as our trusty producer Andrew Gross. We just did a really long, hour-long breakdown of all the action that happened in local sports. It was a lot of softball and a lot of track, but there's a lot of great things happening locally in these sports, and we wanted to make sure everyone knows what's going on. All of our baseball teams are done. All of our soccer teams are done, as far as I know. The other things going on is there's definitely golf that's going to be coming up in the next couple weeks. We have not only a ton of qualifiers for state golf, but we also have some favorites to potentially win the state championship in golf. So we'll have lots of good local sports over the next couple weeks. But the spring season is winding down. And this has basically been the Spivey Athlete of the Week Jane Roloff Award for most of the spring. I think she's won it 4 times.
In fact, I ran into our sponsor.
Yeah.
I ran into Kevin Spivey, and he was like, hey, my wife was wondering why the same girl wins every week.
Because she's real good. She's there's been a couple times.
So cookies were involved.
Yeah. Truth be told, she could have won it one more time if not for cookie boycott.
Exactly. That's true. We specifically didn't give it to her.
Yeah. Well, part of it is Jane's really amazing. Also, we love Jane.
Yes.
What's
we
a
would be the
track
presidents
version
of
a
the
bucket getter?
The Jane Roloff.
Yeah, it's got to
Ooh.
be. I can't think of what else it would be.
I don't know. Well, her nickname is Never Stops Running.
Yeah.
That we gave her. I don't know if that's actually her nickname.
So I got some nominees,
People are
Daniel.
saying.
You can
Sources.
you can throw in some other people if you wanted to from what we talked about in local sports. But starting off with Jane Roloff for Hoquiam track, I put typical dominance, general likability, friends with her rivals, and lined up in the wrong spot one race, and also makes cookies.
Yes. It's hard, that's hard to beat.
Hard to beat.
But another usual suspect, Jessie Gilbert.
Yeah.
Oconsa softball, loads of Ks. People are afraid to pitch to her, and she still hits taters but no cookies.
Right. And throughout,
What if she also makes cookies? We don't even know.
I don't know. I think that there's some possible trip. The thing with Jane and the cookies happened because she told us she likes to bake.
That's true. So what
If we
need
see
to do-
young ladies and we say bake us some cookies,
Yeah.
we might run into some Harrison Butker like trouble.
yeah, that won't.
So I want to try to avoid that.
I was just thinking young athletes.
Yeah, but
Oh wow!
you know what this is
now
telling
Andrew
me?
made me look like a sexist.
We
Thanks,
also
Andrew.
need to interview Jessie.
yeah, we
There's
do
so
need
many
to.
more athletes that we need to interview.
I mean, Jesse's at the top of the list.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, we need to set that up.
I did confirm that she's real,
Yeah,
but we still don't know if she's a robot. Or
you
not.
After the
confirmed
season,
that there's a person who's
are we
claiming
going
to
to be able
Jessie
to?
Gilbert.
Are we going to be able to take pictures from her after the season?
I hope so.
I don't know.
That would be a great time to interview her. Just saying.
That's a good point.
We could just get her on Zoom. Maybe I'll bring her next week and see if she wants to co-host the show with me.
That
We'll see
actually
how
sounds
things go.
awesome.
But then
That
I
would
wouldn't be
great.
able to hit against her.
Yeah, I'm
Daniel,
still really nervous
You wouldn't
about
be able
that.
to hit against her anyway.
That's a good
You
point.
just wouldn't get an opportunity to try.
I've been really
there you
nervous
go.
about that. Anyway, so Jessie Gilbert from Acosta Softball, loads of Ks. I wanted to clarify she pitched 35 and 2/3 innings, which typically would be more than you'd pitch in five games, but that's
Yeah.
because one game ended early due to a mercy rule, so she only pitched 6. But then the other one, she pitched 8 and 2/3.
Yep.
She allowed 10 hits.
And she had. Didn't you say she had 2 no-hitters?
She had 2 no-hitters in there, but one of them had 4 runs score in it because she only allowed 1 earned run, but she walked 5, and there was some errors in that game. which
Gotcha.
allowed. So they won that game against Tootle. It was the opener against Tootle.
Yeah.
So she didn't allow any hits, but they did allow 4 runs in that game.
Right.
Wow. That's brutal.
Yeah.
But across all 5 of those games, even though 5 runs were allowed, only 1 of them was earned. So she went through 35 and 2/3 inning, allowing 1 earned run, striking out 82. And while I said she walked 5 in that first game, she only walked 5 the whole rest of the tournament.
Right.
So she only walked 10 batters the whole tournament.
Yeah. Also, I said in the Local Sports Roundup that Tootle Lake isn't a place.
Well, you said there's no such lake as Tootle.
Exactly. So there is Silver Lake and Tootle.
Yes.
And those areas make the school Tootle Lake.
Yeah.
So just wanted to throw that out.
Home of Eric Swanson. Right? Is it Eric?
Who's Eric Swanson?
The kid, the athlete who committed to play baseball at
I don't know. Apparently
Oregon
there's been a couple recently. Like 2 in the last 3 years have been drafted in the
saw a
MLB draft.
I saw a
Daniel's not a
video.
big enough fan to care about Tootle Lake.
Well,
Okay.
maybe just be the name. Like it's the name. I know we've
Yeah.
talked about him
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
I watched him play basketball.
He's a freak show.
He's a total athletic stud.
Yeah.
But he's an even better baseball player. I'm just randomly scrolling through Instagram reels the other day. You know how they have those recruiting videos?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
stumbled over one about Swanson, and I was like, hey,
Yeah.
watch that kid play basketball.
Exactly.
Absolute stud, committed to play baseball for the Beavers. And he's from Tootle Lake. So, well, he's either from Tootle or Silver Lake, one of those two.
Yeah, but he plays at Tootle Lake.
Anyway, beside the point. Jessie Gilbert, in addition to pitching all 35 and 2/3 innings for her team and only allowing 1 earned run, striking out 82 while walking just 10, she also batted .455 with 8 walks, 3 home runs, 7 runs, and 7 RBI.
Jeez.
So, like,
I mean,
this
as
isn't the
amazing
same
as-
as last year.
As amazing as that is, I also want to say that Tootle Lake are the Ducks, so I hate them, and
Okay.
I really am glad that that kid is going to go from being a Duck to being a Beaver.
Good.
That's just a great transition.
I would like to point out that in my conversation with Tiggy, by
Yeah.
the way, Timmy Higgins, for those who don't know, he was a
Yeah.
incredible Hoquiam track athlete,
Yep.
track lead
Now he's track leading in college.
at St. Martin's.
Yep.
And he finished his season with a 2-second PR in the 800, not last week, but the week before, and ran a 157. So,
Is Richie's the sprinter, right?
yeah.
Apparently he's homeschooled. 1,600 meters is Thursday. Okay, so he's answering a few of your different questions.
Okay.
He was just telling us a little bit more about Richie.
Okay.
He's a homeschooled kid. Just chills, runs real fast.
Yeah.
1,600 meters is Thursday. 800 prelims is Friday.
This is for Jane.
Finals is for 800, and the 3,200 is Saturday.
Okay, so Jane's going to actually have her stuff spread out a little bit.
Yeah, a
Okay.
little bit.
Good to know.
Yeah, okay,
Good to
sorry.
know. No, you're good. So, anyway.
Do they taper hard? I guess that's a coach.
Yeah, you'd have to ask Coach Beeler that.
Beeler,
He would
but-
be the person to ask that.
I don't-
So,
Is
do
it
you
like- is
taper
it
for
sort of
I don't
state?
Do we
think-
expect Jane to run significantly better in the state, or is it the sort of thing where you just can't? Like you just
No,
have-
I think she'll run. Well, okay, so I have talked to Beeler a little bit about these kind of things. Like, not a lot, but brief conversations. And I don't think it's like a straight taper,
Okay.
but I do think when you're talking about league and district, she's not running her absolute best in every race because she knows that she
Yeah.
has to run all of them within the span of about 3 hours.
Yeah.
But in state, it's going to be spread out. So yes, you will see her best times, but it's not because
so
it's not because she's
my
Oh, hold on a second. I got a text from Tiggy. 155.9 in his 800 meter, which was a 2-second PR for him.
wow.
So
crap.
when I
That's
talked
a
to Tiggy,
lot.
I was like, "Hey, you're a freshman college athlete now, and you set a 2-second PR, so you have to set a 2-second PR every year. So by the time you're a senior, you're running a 1,
Tiggy, that's not
47
accurate.
or whatever."
That's not accurate.
Anyway,
That's nuts.
I talked with Tiggy for a long time, and it was awesome. Partly because he's a really cool guy, and partly
Yeah.
because he knows a lot of stuff, and so I got a lot of information
And-
from him.
Also, partly because he's way better than his dad.
Oh yeah, Francis is the worst
Yeah.
person, who I also love.
But he's also the worst.
Like if there was a situation where it was like Noah's Ark, and it was like, hey, I'm gonna allow you to save 20 people, I might
Then it wouldn't be Noah's Ark. So
I might choose like, hey, everyone else can die, but Tiggy's gonna, or not, France is gonna be one of my 20 people.
Really?
But also, I would hate him. It's a really weird.
I don't know where this
situation.
situation is going. I think we should move on.
I love him, but I hate him also.
Yeah.
I don't want him
I'm
to
just
die.
saying there's going to be pictures
don't
on
want him
this
to die.
arc of you in a Duke t-shirt. Are you okay with that?
No, the pictures will all be incinerated by the flood.
Francis is
Incinerated by a flood. Most
Francis-
people think only fire can incinerate things, but in this situation, a flood would.
In this situation, Francis's quarters would be right next to the spiders.
Yeah. In fact, I would release venomous spiders into Francis's room because I hate him, but I also love him. And
We have gone
anyway,
off
my
the
wife
rails.
just sent me a text that said I should move on.
Yeah.
So
Thank
I'm
you,
gonna do
Angel.
that.
Thank you.
Francis, you suck. So we got Jesse Gilbert
Yeah.
and we've got Jane Roloff. We also have Riley Timmons.
Yes, we do.
For Montesano softball, we had the number 1 seed. We haven't had an athlete of the week because they have so many contributors.
Chucking a no-no.
She had a no-hitter against Hoquiam.
Was that the same where she threw 20? Had
Different
20
game.
strikeouts? Okay.
Separate game.
So
So-
she had a no-no and a 20K game.
The 20K game was in the title game. So the no-hitter was against Hoquiam in a win, and the 20K game was in the title game when she pitched all 7 innings. Oh, and then she also pitched all 7 innings. And this is last week because we didn't have a show last week because
Right.
of Mother's Day.
Right.
So I went back a couple days. She pitched all 7 innings in a 3-2 win over Aberdeen, allowing 2 runs on 4 hits, and no cookies. But Riley, I think Riley actually has been athlete of the week before from
She
soccer.
has. Yeah,
because
she-
she was a goalie.
Yep, she has been
And
athlete.
great.
Yep.
But Riley's a great pitcher.
Yeah.
And in addition to the fact that she had a no-hitter in the district tournament, and she had a 20K game in the district title game,
Yeah.
and she had an awesome performance against the 3rd best team in 2A.
Yep.
She also had multiple games of 2 hits
Yes.
in the district
She
tournament.
hit very well.
So Riley Timmons for Monty softball. You get the escalator that your team won the district title and you're the number 1 seed. But also just great performances there
And you're a stud.
and just general studliness.
Here's one that I don't know.
Yeah,
Ashley
Jenkins.
That's how much I don't know.
So do you,
Ashley Jenkins, Region 1 and 2 tumbling and trampoline championships in Salt Lake City, placed 2nd in double mini trampoline, 19th in tumbling, and 6th in trampoline.
Those sound fun to watch.
Those sound awesome to watch.
we-
Also, my son would think that was like the greatest thing ever. He wants to always be on the trampoline. Qualified for nationals in Minneapolis in all 3 events, but also no cookies.
they're all girls, and so when we keep saying no cookies, it makes it seem like that all the women should be baking the cookies.
Yeah, but you really needed to add some. The problem is all of our female athletes are just dominating this award this year.
Have we had
Seriously,
a male? I don't know
where
if
are
we've
the
had a
guys?
male athlete of the week this spring.
I
Have
don't
we?
think we have since basketball season.
It's been a ton of Jane Roloff, and then
You know
we had
what?
Tyler
I
Keaton
keep-
from Willapa Valley in
I
there.
keep telling you that I need to make a list, and I keep not making a list.
Actually,
so that's
look,
bad
I don't
job
think,
by me.
I think we
Bad
have.
job by
I think
Daniel.
that this entire spring season we have not had a male athlete of the week.
Whoa.
It's garlic. It's fine. Ashley Jenkins. So, do you remember, Daniel? This might have been a couple years ago now.
Yeah.
We started watching some of the videos from these things, like the double mini trampoline and stuff, because we were talking about some athletes from Zero Gravity.
Yep.
Well, Ashley was one of them.
Yeah.
So she's moved on. She's level 8 now, which I've been told, or I saw on social media that she may move up to level 10 after some of her
The
performances.
last male athlete
Yeah.
was Carlos Lopez Perez from Grace Harbor Gulls.
Oh, so that was like in the in-between time between winter sports and spring sports.
March 15th.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's been just girls dominating the world
It's
ever
been,
since then.
Let's see, Jane. Lexi LeBounty.
Oh yeah, the huge Lexi LeBounty week for Hoquiam softball.
Tyler Keaton.
Yeah,
Olivia
Willapa
Moore.
Valley. Oh yeah, that was a golf. That was an Elma golf athlete.
Jane.
Jesse Gilbert. Okay.
Jane. Yeah, lots of Jane.
So for Ashley,
she's dominating.
That's the spring. Yeah.
For Ashley Jenkins here in tumbling, this regional championship, she finished second in the entire region, which qualifies her to go to Minneapolis for nationals in multiple events. But the big one was the second in the double mini trampoline. And I know what this is because when this came up a couple years ago, we watched some videos and Ashley was a part of that as well. But this is a huge accomplishment for her, not only accomplishing things on the regional level for tumbling, but also, you know, getting a chance to go prove what she can do on a national level. And I think a part of it is my fault here is that I don't understand what all the levels mean exactly.
Okay, I just had to go rewatch what a double mini trampoline was.
It's
bonkers.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
That's nuts.
Go Google it and you can find it.
Yeah.
But Ashley Jenkins is a level 8, but she may be moving up levels. But as a level 8, she finished second in the region.
Is the level based on skill?
Yeah, I think so. Because
Okay.
there are
So it isn't
levels
based on. It's not like a age classification.
I think there are
or
levels
something.
and age classifications.
Okay.
So within your age classification, I believe there are also levels.
Okay.
Dude, it is crazy. Like, run real fast, and then you jump on a trampoline, then you jump on another trampoline, and then you
Dana's
can, like,
gonna
do 2
narrate it.
jumps, and you do all these flips and junk. Dude, it's crazy.
Yeah.
You, like, run like you're going to do what's the thing? Dang it.
a vault.
A vault. You
Yeah.
run like you're going to do the vault.
And then you just
except
bounce
you
off
just
of
jump off multiple trampolines.
Multiple trampolines, yeah.
And you do all these flips and junk.
Like how we talk about how people are crazy who do pole vault.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
similar.
Yeah. So Ashley Jenkins, that's a huge one.
Yeah.
There with what she accomplished. So those are our 4 nominees. Did you have anybody else from Local Sports Roundup that you wanted to throw in?
Well,
I mean, we probably should throw Haley Blankus in there as well. It's just like, yawn, you know, Haley
kinda wait
Blankus
for her to-
accomplished something really amazing.
Yeah.
She won the state title last year.
Yeah. In which, you know, that's the bar that some of these kids set for themselves.
What are
She
we
beat
gonna-
the league. She beat the league champion by 10 strokes in a 2-day total. No
What
big
are we
deal.
going to do when in 1 week we've got multiple state title holders?
I think we need to stretch it out because we're coming up on summer. So I think we might need to, like, use
Put it on
multiple
hold.
weeks. You know?
We
like,
did that last year, actually.
Did we do that last year? I think we might have to do that again because in spring sports specifically, we get lots of state title holders,
Yeah.
and I feel like we needed to honor them. So we'll probably end up stretching it out a little bit.
Yeah.
But
Well,
yeah,
next week's going to
Haley-
be Jane after she, breaks state records at the state meet.
There's a
that
good
does
shot.
seem likely.
It does seem likely. But yeah, Haley just. I mean, what did you? I'm trying to find her 3-day or her 2-day score. 151.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that's 36 holes. So that means she shot probably a 75 and a 76. That's ridiculous. That's yeah. So she.
I think I could do that.
She
Let's do our
absolutely-
next challenge. Will be
Dude,
can
you
we
couldn't
shoot an 18-hole total? That's the.
I was gonna
Can
say.
we shoot a 9-hole total? That's her 18-hole total or whatever.
Okay, now you're trying. You're the one trying to change it because I don't think you could shoot an 18-hole total of 151. But we should definitely go try.
I haven't golfed in like 5 years now.
I am quite certain that I could beat 151 in 9 holes.
I'm
So-
certain of it too, Andrew.
Chase just sent us a message that said
Okay.
he doesn't have stats, but Ashlyn Weld is a freshman pitcher.
Yeah.
Got Elma to state. The problem here, Chase, is that there's 2 A Welds. So I have stats. I have all the
But
stats
their
that you would
stats are all
possibly
inflated
need.
in the wrong direction.
But I
you're
don't
right.
know which A Weld is which A Weld, and I'm so sorry. I feel
Weld
really
should
bad.
probably be our athlete of the week.
I actually feel
Combine them.
Just A Weld.
A well.
What if we just went all the welds?
All
we could
welds.
throw Raylan in with both of the A welds.
dude?
Because
that's
if
not a
I
bad
would be
idea.
willing to bet if I went into Game Changer and looked up the combined stats of all the 3 weld girls through the entire district tournament, it would
Yes.
blow people away.
That's not a bad idea, actually. Because when you read about Montesano softball, it's just, Will does this, Will does that, Will does
That's
this.
Elma.
No, it
You
was a
said
different
Montesano.
Will.
It's
I
Elma.
said, that's a. I feel like I need to
You
like
really
do some
complimented those Elma
I
players
feel like I need
by
to
saying Montesano. Good
do
job,
some
Daniel.
push-ups or
I
something.
feel like you
like
can probably
that's-
just be like, I'm sorry, guys, I'm from Hoquiam. I don't know the East County.
East County stuff.
Oh, I thought you were going to say I'm from Hoquiam. I don't know what playoffs are. Sometimes I just say things. I shouldn't have said that. I should not have said that. That was a bad move by me. I apologize immediately. I regret it.
So Justin's going to be training his running on the way home.
I'm on my knees to show my contrition. I should not have said that. That was a bad job by me.
I know it's been a while, but when was the last time Monty had an undefeated basketball team?
Never.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Never, Justin.
Well, never. Yeah, you're right. I take it back.
That was a low blow, dude.
I'm so sorry. I just things pop out of my mouth and I don't know how to control it sometimes.
Yeah, we discussed this. You like to ruin conversations.
I don't like to.
You like to.
It just happens.
All right, this is a tough choice as usual.
I have a way I'm leaning.
I am leaning in a way that makes it so cookies are not part of our decisions because I think that would be a problem.
Yeah.
So let's take the cookies that you listed out of it.
Okay, so Jane's not in this.
But also, I'm really hungry. Dang you.
I'm leaning Riley Timmons
That's where I was leaning to.
because
I was, yeah. I
having
know
a
she's a Monty
no-hitter-
kid, and I generally try
hate-
and combat you on this.
Well, and you're extra mad now because I took that shot at
I am
Hoquiam.
very upset.
I'm sorry.
But that's where I was leaning before you said that. So I have
Okay.
to stay true.
Not,
Stay true.
Not only with the no-hitter in the district tournament, but then also with the 20K game.
Yeah.
While she also had offensive production, and
Yep.
if you throw in her performance against a great Aberdeen team
Yep.
last week as well, I think Riley Timmons absolutely deserves it. And getting some recognition for a team that absolutely deserves it with their performance that they've had this year. So
I mean, they're the 1 seed in the state tournament.
yeah.
So absolutely a team that we need to highlight. And you mentioned it so many times. It's hard to be able to find somebody who's more deserving than other girls on that team. Like Allie Parkin absolutely could be someone we could nominate as well.
Yeah. I
And
don't
there's
know
so many
when
other teams.
all league teams are coming out, but Allie Parkin might end up being the MVP
Yeah.
of the 1A Evergreen League.
Yep.
But yeah, there's all kinds of really good players who have huge contributions for that Monty team. And then also we're doing the thing with Jessie Gilbert where we look at it. Yeah, she did all this really great stuff, and she pitched all these innings and struck out 82 batters. And
But
also
how many home runs did she have?
well, she hit 3, but she only had 11 at bats. She had 11 at bats. She had 3 home runs.
Yeah. That's
And
crazy.
then
a lot of walking.
Eight walks. Yeah. So anyway,
It's not really running.
and then I love
Her
to see
home run average is better than Julio's batting average. Just throwing that out there. It's a little bit of a segue to what we can talk about
Are we putting
regional.
Julio's batting average as a high mark?
I mean, his batting average is actually the best part of his offensive game.
good.
So,
besides
you
his
know.
base running. Are we ready to name it? Are we gonna call it?
I'm good to call it.
Okay, so Montesano softballs. Riley Timmons pitched a no-hitter, had a 20K game, also good offensive output, and
Are those
a great
different games?
yeah,
That's wild.
and a great performance against Aberdeen the previous week. So Riley Timmons, you are our Spivey Athlete of the Week.
Chase says,
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Riley. We're sorry that you've peaked again.
What did Chase say?
Chase says, does the community of Monty even celebrate softball state titles anymore, or do they just mourn when they don't win it?
That's
Yeah,
a really
that's
good
probably
question.
accurate.
That's a great question. We're also going to reach out to the royal community and ask the same thing about football,
Also,
which still doesn't make any sense. They're out in the middle of nowhere. Sorry.
to answer Chase's question a little bit on one, when Monty didn't make state that one year, a few years ago, it was really confusing.
It
It
was.
was confusing.
I didn't know how to.
was like,
I didn't know how
what-
to react to it.
what do I
Like
do?
we've had, in the entire time I've been following Monty, literally,
Yeah.
the entire time, the entire quarter decade that I've been following Monty softball. They don't miss state.
No.
They missed state one year.
I didn't even know it was possible.
Yeah, And it happened.
I think I heard somebody ask whether the coach had lost it at that point, and I was like, whoa. Dude, he just made it to state 20 times in a row.
Yeah, 22, I think.
Yeah, and then he misses 1 year, and they're like, I don't know, maybe his run's over. I was like, you're insane.
Can that guy.
You guys are bonkers.
Get rid of him. You know what,
Go
though?
home.
High school parents are always looking for every reason to fire a coach.
It's
so
so
yeah.
dumb.
No, I mean, Pat Pace is...
Yeah.
I mean, if you're looking at the greatest coaches of any stretch of time in all of our area, in any sport, Pat's going to be up there.
Chase says that Royal definitely recruits from nearby areas. You can't convince him otherwise. But Chase,
Where are the nearby
there are no
areas?
nearby areas.
Man.
Go to Royal. Drive for 100 miles. Find an area.
Yeah.
There's nothing out there.
I mean,
They're so good. That's all they do all day.
They just play football and farm. That's it.
yeah. I would say people move there, but where?
Yeah.
Where would you move?
Yeah.
There's like 18 houses outside of town.
I used to think Royal was a private school.
Yeah.
And then I drove through
He was
Royal.
like Royal, stupid private school.
You know what? We were having a really nice show before we started talking about Royal. Can we move on?
Well, at least we're not talking about Deer Park. Am I right?
Good point.
All right. I think it's time. Is it time?
It's time for the commercial break that Daniel has to read.
It is
So
time.
thank you for listening to the scrimmage, and bear with us because on the other side of this break, we got all kinds of great stuff to talk about. We're going to do the 2-minute drill. We're going to do Stump Daniel in this really, really long show.
Spivey Realty Group's goal is to make buying, selling, investing, and renting real estate in Grace Harbor simple. They believe in 100% transparency and unparalleled communication with local expertise, tech-enhanced, and top-notch service for their friends, neighbors, and community. Their goal is simple. Get a group of strong-willed, hardworking people together who want to make a difference in Grace Harbor and use real estate as a means of achieving that. Voted Grace Harbor's best real estate company. Find them on Facebook or visit graceharborrealestate.com. Spivey Realty Group, elevating small town real estate. Also, as I mentioned, ran into Kevin Spivey, owner-operator of Spivey Realty. I tried to throw a ball to
I
myself.
just gave you the baseball. Like literally 10 seconds ago, and you're already throwing it and knocking stuff over.
It was the left hand. Sorry. That was a left-handed problem.
Hannah's angry.
You're not
I didn't
amphibious.
even actually knock something over.
No, you caught it. It was
I
amazing.
almost did.
Like Spider-Man.
I'm going to be playing softball against Kevin this year.
Okay.
So,
Oh,
And
bold
probably
move.
wiffle ball as well.
oh, snap. You're probably right. But
We
he's in the
got
same
some-
division as I am, so
We got some stuff going on with our wiffle ball rosters.
am I going to have to serve him up taters, like, to make sure I secure our
We
sponsorship?
we should probably order some wiffle balls, guys.
We should probably order some jerseys.
That too.
Well,
but-
yeah, but we have to finalize our rosters before we order jerseys.
Do we?
Yeah.
Or do we just order a bunch of, like, extra larges and people can tuck them into their shorts or something?
Would you like to wear an extra large?
No.
Yeah.
But I know I'm going to be on one of the teams. Do we have to get different jerseys for our two different teams? Because if so, our jerseys, the old man roster, needs to just have like an outline of Cal Raleigh's caboose.
Or could it have could the old guy roster be Edgar Martinez and it says like En Fuego or something like that?
Oh.
And then the young guys could be something Julio Rodriguez related.
Why? So they strike out
Like
all
a
the
picture
time?
of him waving his arm like this as he rounds second base like a helicopter or like a propeller.
So much
I
to
can't
get to.
unsee that now, Daniel.
I know, I'm sorry.
He rounds bases terribly.
Horribly.
Yeah.
Did you watch the clip of the game we won against the Orioles? And,
I don't
and
think
he's scoring
so.
he's scoring on a Cal Raleigh double or something like that, and he's rounding third, and it just looks terrible.
Like short stepping and
Yeah,
leaning.
like, oh no, I have to turn, and it's like, it shouldn't be a surprise. You don't get to run straight in this game. Sorry. Anyway, I say we get the second part of this show going with the 2-minute drill.
Let's go, huddle up! Gotta hurry. Hey, 2-minute situation, 44 seconds, hand the ball to ref. Gonna do it right. 3 jet Buckeye, on one, 3.
The 2-minute drill starts now.
Scotty Scheffler
Scotty.
was arrested on his way to the second round of the PGA Championship on Friday.
Scotty doesn't know.
He was charged with felony assault of a police officer and multiple misdemeanors, including criminal mischief, reckless driving, and disregarding traffic signals of an officer directing traffic. Daniel, how much will this incident hurt Scheffler in the public eye?
I think it will probably hurt him for the people who just see the headline, Scotty Scheffler arrested. But you start to read the story, and you're like, okay, this was a super confusing situation, is what it seems like.
Chaos.
And the police officer that decided to try and grab onto a moving car as it was driving by and then got hurt.
And also the
Stop!
report that there were multiple other golfers who were let through there before.
Yeah. So it's like the whole thing seems super weird, and just the fact that you look at it and they're like, oh yeah, by the way, they let him go so he could play his round that day.
They actually held the tournament and waited for him.
Yeah, exactly. So all of those things, I don't think it'll affect him that much, but I'm sure there's a couple people who just saw the first headline will be like, hey, that guy's a jerk.
I'm pretty sure that the economic losses to the city of Louisville will exceed the losses to Scotty Scheffler. I'm serious.
That's a good point.
That cop really stepped in it.
The Dallas Mavericks advanced to the Western Conference Finals by knocking off top-seeded Oklahoma City in 6 games. The Mavs trading for Irving last year. Whoa. The Mavericks traded for... Wait. The Mavs trading for Irving last year to be Luka's running mate was widely criticized. Justin, have the Mavs proven they made the right decision?
I mean, really the big thing here is
Kyrie Irving, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why?
Sorry. I'm just thinking we have some people who don't pay attention to basketball.
Okay,
You just
sorry.
went one name there.
Aggressively
And I don't
pay
think
attention to basketball.
I don't think he's quite to the level where you just need his
Hey, the
last
Thunder
name.
got eliminated.
He's like Cher, just Irving.
Irving.
Yeah,
Got
not
it.
Kyrie. He wouldn't be best known as Kyrie. He'd be
Okay.
best known as Irving.
Not Julius Irving.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I mean, I think the big thing is the difference in Kyrie. Like, seeing that he does still step up and score a lot of points when they need him to, but he also has been completely willing to maturely, oddly, take a secondary role. And sometimes he only shoots like 9 times a game, 11 times a game, and he's had those games where he knows that it needs to be Luka's time, and he does it. I think that's the biggest difference. I do still think that there was this Oklahoma City team is the youngest team in NBA history to have ever won a series. They were going to falter. Like, it's not a crazy shock that Dallas beat Oklahoma City.
Right.
But I do think that they are validated in that decision because now they've made it to the conference finals and they need to make more steps to get further. But they're going to lose to whoever wins in the Denver-Minnesota series.
Yeah.
The Seattle Mariners currently are at the top of the AL West standings, but they've been hanging out around 54% for the last few weeks. Daniel, are they good?
No. I don't know.
Okay.
But I know that I'm really frustrated right now because you caught me on a day where they've lost 2 out of 3 to the Orioles. And also, Julio keeps swinging at the same stupid pitches constantly, and it makes me real upset.
Stupid Julio.
Francis says, only way ball golf. That's not a thing. It's just golf, Francis. Don't try and make that a
Ball
thing.
golf. I see what he did there, though, because
is
he's a golf guy.
Yeah, is interesting anymore is if one of them gets arrested.
Hashtag nobody cares.
The money doesn't say that. Just throwing that out there. Then he said Kyrie went to Justin's favorite college.
See, you had a good comment, and then you
Justin
followed it up
loves
with a terrible
Duke.
comment.
And then he said Justin loves Duke.
You had
He
a
was
really.
wearing a Duke shirt on the show recently.
You're
so
right. He was.
might actually love Duke.
This is why you would be on my arc, and then I would throw you overboard.
Whoa.
Because I love you, but I also want to throw you into the waves.
Good call there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, do you
he
want
probably
me
did-
to restart this
What?
2-minute drill?
No, we're done.
Okay.
That was it.
Okay.
Oh, wait. No, there is one more
What's
question.
another one?
Oh, yeah. You probably should.
Okay.
Let's go.
Justin, did you find anything remotely interesting about this week's NFL schedule release? Yeah, we really didn't need the music for this.
No.
There we go.
I'm glad we restarted the music, though. No, I think, like, the schedule release is so stupid.
Yeah.
Like, we went through this last year.
My
Yeah.
favorite part is
You
how
know-
they leak things
They leak things days
for
before.
like 3 days beforehand, and people are like,
They're
and by
eating
people I mean people that are talking on the radio.
Yeah.
Are like, oh, this thing leaked.
Look
and it's
how
like,
interesting this is.
I just don't care. Just tell me so that I can tell me what days I can have a Sunday off.
Yes.
You already know all, like, if you can go in and figure out who you're playing
Yeah.
and where you're playing them.
Yeah.
For all 17 games.
Yeah.
It's all on a rotation. The only thing it tells you
is
when's your bye week,
Yeah.
what's the order of the games, and how many primetime games do you get.
Yep.
So, like, if there's one thing, like the schedule release comes out, I'm like, oh, teams I care about. Where's your bye week? The Seahawks are 10.
Bye week is important,
The Seahawks have a week 10 bye week.
which is better than early.
It's good,
Yeah.
I think. It's
Yes.
not ideal because you'd like a week 12,
I like where it's at.
but it's perfectly fine. And then the other thing is, how many primetime games do you have?
4,
The Seahawks
right?
have 4.
Yeah.
2 of them are Thursday games, which sucks because that means you have 2 short week games.
Yeah.
Also, the NFL is out of control.
Yeah.
Out of control. I hate Thursday games. I hate Saturday games. I hate any game that doesn't happen on a Sunday and then give me one on Monday.
Monday night.
All games on Sunday, one on Monday night. Like,
Yeah.
why do we need to try to dominate the whole week? And when you look at the Christmas week,
It's nuts.
there's going to be NFL games at some point this season every day except Tuesday.
Yeah.
They have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday games at some point this
I
regular
kind
season.
of get it with Christmas because there's tons of people taking time off and there's like special, like I kind of understand why. It feels
It's
like
only
they're
because you're
trying...
not a basketball fan.
Okay, that's fair. Definitely not a basketball fan.
Christmas has always been the NBA's holiday.
Oh, interesting. So I didn't even realize that. So this is the NFL legitimately trying to encroach on the NBA's territory.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I can get behind that.
This is a
I like
power
that.
move by the NFL to say, no, Christmas is ours now. And you know
Okay.
what? They're going to win. That's the
Because
that's the
basketball
part of it
sucks.
that's most frustrating. Usually the NBA takes their 3, because like they kind of kick off in the Halloween type of area. And then
Okay.
like Christmas is kind of when the season really gets into full swing, and they take like their 3 best games.
Okay.
3 marquee matchups, and they put them on Christmas.
And we get the Lions versus somebody, and who else? I just know the Lions are always
I don't
freaking
know.
playing
On Thanksgiving.
Christmas. Oh, is it Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving, the Cowboys and the Lions.
The
always
Cowboys
play
and
on
the
Thanksgiving.
Lions. Guaranteed non-marquee matchups.
Yeah. So now the NFL has just decided, screw you, NBA. We know we're going to beat you anyway, so we're going to go into your number 1 day and take it over.
Yeah.
I mean, I can get behind that.
I think it's dumb,
I mean,
and I hate it.
well, it'd be better if the NBA was better.
It makes fantasy
And not
football.
led by a bunch of giants who just flop all
It
over
makes
the place.
fantasy football so confusing.
That's true.
It's already
true.
so hard
Yes, it
to
makes-
make sure that you don't have
for
guys
one
on a
week-
Thursday night game.
For 1 week, fantasy
you're-
football
I'm
is
sorry.
like fantasy baseball.
I was gonna
You
say
have no
that's-
idea who's playing when or what's happening.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Like Justin is the person who can't talk about that because you're like, I just said it at the beginning of the week and forget it. Who cares about injuries?
I
want
to set it one time.
Yeah. So in football, just wait for Sunday to be over, set it, and if somebody gets hurt, they get hurt.
If it locked in on Thursday and everybody was playing by the same rules, I'd be totally fine with that.
Oh, okay.
But it doesn't. Like, you get Saturday injury updates, and then all the other people can change their injury, guys.
Yeah, you're because other people can change it. I guess that makes sense for your side of the argument. But
Well,
also,
there's no argument. I just.
But
win.
also, you just like, you don't care if somebody gets hurt. You just think that's the way to go. But it's dumb because half of my baseball roster gets hurt, and then I just have to sit there and wait the whole week.
Here's
should
the
pick
problem
guys
with
that
the way
don't
you
get hurt,
argue.
Daniel.
Here's
Yeah.
the problem with the way you argue.
I tell you what your argument is, even though it's not your argument.
No, you say you can have 2 perfectly valid different sides of an argument, and people can argue it. And Daniel goes, "No, you're stupid."
Yeah.
Like it becomes immediately
That's-
like it's a
that's
personal
ge-
attack. Like if you agree, if you think
It's
an
the
opinion,
character attack.
if you think an
Yeah.
opinion different than mine, then you're a literal moron.
Yeah, that's what you do to me all the
That
time.
must be
so it works
difficult
out
for you,
great.
Justin, being a moron all the time
Yeah.
like that.
I don't think I've ever done
It's
that to you.
what fallacy you've done
I
quite a bit.
do it passive aggressively, so you feel stupid, but I don't actually say that you're stupid.
Yeah, but
That's actually probably true.
that's the same thing.
Daniel calls
It's different.
himself stupid.
It's not
different.
different.
It's different.
Doing
It's-
it passively or aggressively, it's the same
Passive
thing.
aggressively.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doing it passive aggressively or just aggressive aggressively, you're still doing it. So
No,
it's the
but you
same
look
thing.
worse by doing it that way.
Oh, okay, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, so but you admitted that it's the same thing.
No, it's not the same thing.
Yeah, because you have an aggressive on both sides of those things.
But one of them is preceded by passive.
Sounds good.
I think I just
can't
won
remember
again. Did I just win that argument
What's
too?
the
Probably.
I am nailing this.
What is
You know
the
what's
name of the
funny
fallacy
is
that it is?
nobody knows, nobody outside
Yeah.
of what's happening right here has
Right.
any idea what we're talking about
No
because we
clue.
didn't explain it.
And
Okay.
it's also like a 2-year-old argument.
And it's
about
a-
fantasy baseball.
It's also a really dumb argument
It
that
is.
doesn't matter
It's
at
really
all.
stupid.
Like really, there's just Daniel has a terrible opinion on it. So let's move on.
But also, I'm in first in the baseball league, so just throwing that out there.
How'd you finish last year?
Have fun in 5th place.
How'd
there,
you
Chief.
finish the last 2 years?
Oh, I don't know.
I was in the title game last
I don't
year.
even.
Oh, did
play
you win it,
fantasy
though?
baseball
I lost
because-
by
Oh,
one.
you didn't win it.
I
Then it
lost
doesn't
by
matter.
.001 on base percentage.
Did you win though?
That's passive aggressive. That's passive aggressive. I
Is it?
would I would prefer if you'd be aggressive aggressive.
I thought that
Uh,
was
and
pretty
just call me stupid.
I
Does
thought it was
Justin
just
have
douchey
thoughts
aggressive.
on Duke softball winning the Durham Regional?
Nobody cares, Francis.
That was Chase.
I do know.
Nobody cares, Chase.
Hey Chase, did you check out the weekend series between Duke and UNC baseball? Because North Carolina just locked up. They just locked up the ACC championship by beating Duke in the series. So
Francis says ball golf. Stop trying to make it a thing. It's not. Is being bought by government that is okay with dismembering journalists. Oh, I think. Are you talking about the Saudi league? That's different though. So
Live
that's
golf.
that. I'm good with not paying attention to ball golf.
yeah, we're not watching Live
Unless
golf.
it's Tiger, who you want to bring up criminal stuff, then that's okay. You can go along with that. Is in the
Francis
hunt
says
with
his personal athlete of the week is Skylar Bovey for making stupid Justin wear that stupid shirt.
He said, "I wonder if Angel and Courtney have an opinion on
your
your collective stupidities."
Here's the problem.
Well, he could have spelled my
They
wife's
definitely
name right.
do.
Who said the thing about
It's
me wearing
Courtney
a
with a
stupid
K.
shirt? Who said the thing about me wearing a stupid shirt?
Francis.
Here's the thing about Francis.
This is like the 5th time we've allowed him to hijack our
Here's
show.
the thing about Francis.
Yeah.
Of all the people in my life that I care about,
Did I really say your argument was stupid, or was I didn't say you were an idiot. I'm just coming back to this.
yeah,
No, I was just saying your argument was stupid.
yeah, Daniel, from the
don't
beginning.
let Justin
no,
define your argument.
hold on. I'll say one thing and then I'll let you say whatever you want.
Okay, I'm really curious here.
From
'cause-
the beginning of this particular
okay,
conversation,
so like 2 years ago.
with baseball,
Right.
I have avoided talking with you about this.
Yeah.
Because your go-to is that's dumb. So I don't even talk to you about it because I look at it like I just kind of have a difference of opinion with you.
Right.
And your response is, well, that's stupid. So I don't even want to talk to you about it because I don't want to offend you, because my read on that is when you say
stupid.
it's not
He's
that.
just saying that your opinion is stupid.
If Daniel called me stupid, do you think I would care? I wouldn't care. But my whole thing is like, I don't want
Yeah.
to create an issue. And this seems like something that if you're willing to say that the argument is dumb or stupid,
Right.
it's something you really care about. And I
Right.
don't care about it.
No, I
so
don't
I don't
care-
want to have the argument because my
Look, and he
I don't
can't
feel
come
the
up
way
with a
about my
smart
opinion
argument.
that you feel about yours.
I get that you feel that way.
Yeah, and still no one knows what we're talking about.
Yeah. And I'm going to leave them in the dark because screw you, listeners.
That's my thing.
Exactly.
That's stupid.
I obviously don't care as much about it as you think I do.
Okay.
Because remember, the reason
he's
why
in
I was
first
upset
place.
about it is I didn't care enough to set my rosters religiously on Sundays. So I obviously didn't care enough about it.
Were you just lashing out?
Yes.
Okay.
I was lashing out because I didn't care enough to make sure I set an alarm every Sunday to do it.
Okay, so I think I handled it properly then. Like I
Prob-
just kind of let you vent about it.
Exactly.
And I didn't really.
Yeah. And I say
Forcefully
it's
argue.
dumb because if you miss a day deadline, then you're screwed.
So if anyone's curious,
So I didn't care about it enough to pay attention enough.
Yeah.
And then I'd be screwed. And then I'd be like, this is dumb.
would it help you to know that it doesn't bother me at all?
Probably.
Okay. So if anyone's curious, this argument that spanned now apparently a couple years
Yeah.
is that our fantasy baseball league, which Andrew declined to be in and now regrets it because he misses out on the chats.
Nope. Well, I missed out on the chats. That's actually accurate.
Our fantasy baseball league has
Fantasy baseball's awful, though.
weekly.
It's so bad.
No, it's not when you have weekly roster changes.
It's
so you have on
impossible to understand who's playing when.
It's a rotation. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, you can't explain it to me. You've
Baseball
tried
plays
before.
almost every day.
You've tried before,
You
and it's
basically-
impossible to understand what's Like, how do I set? Somebody got hurt. Do I change it now?
No,
do
you
I
change
need to
it
wait
once a
to
week on
change
Mondays.
it? It's so confusing.
Yeah, Andrew, you're bringing up my crux of the argument.
I know.
So just a brief explanation.
Yeah.
Our fantasy baseball league.
Yes.
If you try to do daily fantasy baseball, it's really hard to keep up with because you have to keep switching guys in and out.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
as a way to have like, hey, let's do a fantasy baseball league with our friends, but if people can't be checking it every 14 minutes, we'll set it up with weekly roster. So Monday, your roster locks in.
Right.
So my thought is, okay, it's same for everyone, whatever. Honestly, I don't have a great conviction over it.
Right.
I think I'm fine with the way that it runs, but partly it's because if I finish in first place or 8th place, I don't really give a crap.
Right.
So then Daniel's thing is like, if I lock my roster in on a Monday and my catcher gets injured on a Wednesday, I should have like a waiver, like once a week.
Yeah.
I should be able to be like, all right, my guy got injured. I'm going to switch someone else in.
Right. Yeah.
And the other side of that is, well, everyone's playing under the same rules. Guys get injured at the same rates
Absolutely.
in general.
I never
So,
argued that it wasn't fair.
Yeah.
That was don't
You
put
argued
those
that-
words in my
you
mouth. I
argued that
never
it was-
argued that it wasn't
You
fair.
argued that it was dumb.
I argued that it was dumb.
which I slightly disagree with, but I also
Well,
want to support my friend.
Justin, I'm
Yeah.
going to say this.
Okay.
You know, I'm very opinionated with how to put together leagues and rules.
Agreed.
It's why I get put on different rules committees.
Absolutely.
I find loopholes, and I say that if you do certain things a way I wouldn't do them, I say they're dumb.
Yeah.
So I never said it wasn't fair.
When you run out of literal arguments to make, you take a personal attack on the argument.
If
This
you're
argument
gonna,
is
if
dumb.
you're gonna have, there's a reason why most of my suggestions have been taken in the Wiffle Ball World Series rules
bona
committee.
fides.
Yeah.
Nice.
So there's because I find dumb rules and I fix them.
You puffed out your chest when you said that.
Are we ready for a little bit of? I just realized as
Angel
you were
wants to
talking
know
about
who
this,
is Lou Poles.
Loopholes.
I think that the thing that bothers
Also, she
me,
says that we're ridiculous humans.
Yes,
yeah,
that's true.
Well, that's accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
I'm
the
going to
thing that
figure out
bothers
another way
me-
to cut Andrew off because I cut him off twice in a row and it felt weird.
I think the thing that bothers me about fantasy baseball is that weekly cutoff, because I pay attention to football weekly.
Yeah.
I pay attention to baseball every day.
Right.
Like, I listen to baseball happening every day.
Yeah.
And then it's a very weird disconnect to be like, oh no, Sunday I need to pay extra attention.
That's the whole thing about fantasy baseball. Baseball is not conducive to fantasy sports.
I would agree with that, and that was why after a couple attempts I was like, you know what,
It's just
this
hard.
isn't helping me enjoy the game.
Yeah. I'm not saying
it's
there's
definitely
a
not
good
helping
solution.
Daniel enjoy the game when his catcher gets injured on Wednesday.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'll say two things. One is, I prefer the rule that rosters are locked in on Monday.
Right.
But also, if the league changed it to where you get like 2 exemptions, where if a guy gets hurt in the week, you can pop somebody in.
That sounds complicated.
I'd be fine with that. I think I'd be okay with it.
Do you like fantasy basketball? Because I haven't played that in ages either.
I actually kind of hate fantasy basketball. The last fantasy basketball league that I was in had weekly roster changes also. It was the exact same format
Interesting.
as baseball.
Was it frustrating?
No, because similarly, I only sort of cared.
Right.
I think if I really cared about it and like had a lot of money invested or something,
Yeah.
then it would have felt different. But dude, basketball is even more complicated to try because like in baseball, you play basically every day, and then like you get one off day a week,
Yeah.
basically. But in basketball, it's like sometimes you play 3 games a week, sometimes you play 2, sometimes you play back-to-backs, but most of the time your games are spread out by a few days. It gets really difficult to go in and make daily changes.
Francis wants to know when the Pac-2 schedule is released.
Oh, I took care of it, Daniel.
Okay. Wait, so they're still calling it the Pac-12? Mm-hmm. Interesting.
I assume just because
Who's
it
in
would cost
it?
money to change the logo, and there's no point.
Who's in it?
Oh. Well, you're such a jackrabbit.
Justin, there's the Beavers and the Cougars.
I thought they
The
were
Cougars.
I thought they. The Cougars, like the raccoons.
The raccoons and the
I
Cougars.
thought they were going to add more teams.
No.
Okay.
There's several years that will need to happen over, honestly.
Really?
All joking aside, it will be like the next half decade that we'll see how this actually plays out.
Decade.
That's a long
Decade.
time.
Should we move on to my favorite part of the show?
I think so. But I'm just going to say it's dumb.
You're going to like
Serving
it.
questions up on a silver platter where the points are made up and the rules don't matter. Time for Stump Daniel.
Stump Daniel is brought to you by the law office of Jeffrey A. Domashevitz and Daniel. I wanted to go with a Mariners theme because we're still in spring sports. We're still in Mariners season. What did little Daniel say?
He said, yeah, the Cougars are mad. They can fight with the Beavers, though. And then he said, it's a heckade. So he was right along with you. on that
Decade.
one.
Absolutely. Also, Cougars versus Beavers. Oh, Cougars are going to win that fight. If we were doing a mascot battle.
Yeah. What if the Cougars, before the actual fight begins, or the Beavers before the fight begins,
Drop a
that
tree on
night
the Cougar.
built a dam
Watch your mouth.
and then flooded the Cougars' homeland and beat them that way?
That would be a challenge.
That would require a level of intelligence. Do they have that?
Well, they can build dams.
Daniel
But
ran
would they
over
be
one
able
once.
to? I was gonna say, would they be able to build one with that level of maliciousness? But then
Malicious intent.
Andrew became more malicious than a beaver would be towards a cougar by bringing up the point
Yeah,
that
well, you
Daniel
know what?
once road killed a
You know what,
beaver.
Andrew? You're dumb.
I may be dumb, but I've never hit a cougar.
Dang it.
Possibly because cougars are
Way too smart.
sneaky.
Yeah.
Or cougars are just scared, the little babies.
Yeah,
They run
definitely-
away whenever a car
definitely-
tries to come barreling towards them.
Definitely.
Francis says fantasy hockey is better than fantasy basketball and baseball, but I feel like hockey would have similar problems
exactly
to
the
basketball because they play the same amount of games.
Exactly the same.
Yeah, it seems like that would be similar.
Also, fantasy hockey, I've done it before.
Really?
You end up with like a team
You're
of like.
so much more of a nerd than I thought.
It was a
you
long
were.
time ago, but like 70% of the guys on your team, you have no idea who they are.
Next, you're gonna tell me you're a fantasy golf player. or
I've done
something.
fantasy golf.
Justin, have you ever
Who
done
are
fantasy
you?
football on pen and paper?
Yes, I have. Anyway, moving on.
That's awesome.
to my favorite part of the show,
You
Stump
just-
Daniel, which is brought to you by the law office of Jeffrey A. Domashevitz.
What's the A stand for?
No relation.
I played it already, right?
Daniel,
I think
yeah,
so.
Okay. I was
Daniel-
like, wait, I already did this.
I put a graphic out on our socials
Really?
last week
What?
that was build your Mariners roster.
Oh yes.
$15 budget,
Yeah.
and here's your different levels of players,
Yep.
blah, blah, blah.
I went the true Mariners route and saved $1.
Good job by
For
you.
management.
That was a
For
good job by you.
management.
You
John
gotta save.
Stanton thanks you.
Yep.
You do it when you can, and Stanton's a Porzy,
Yep.
so he needs that dollar.
Yep.
But what I want to know, basically the way I constructed that for the most part, although I did take some liberties, was I used, because you get the Mariner at the peak of their Mariners production.
Right.
I took single season WAR,
Okay.
and I kind of put together the different tiers based on who had the greatest peak.
Okay.
So what I want to know is from the
Is that
different tiers.
Arwar?
No, WAR.
I know. Is it R war or F war?
It's WAR. It's just WAR. WAR.
Where did you look this war up?
Baseball reference.
Okay, so it's R war.
Yeah.
Okay. It just said WAR.
I know, but that's sorry.
Justin isn't as deep into the stats as we are, Daniel.
Different websites have their own formulas for war. So Baseball Reference War is called R war. Fangraphs is called F war, and there's some other.
Another one that isn't used as much.
Yeah.
Okay, nerds.
Sorry.
All right, so based on what Baseball Reference said, and these are overall WAR, not just offensive, so it does
WAR.
take into consideration their defensive stats.
Gotcha.
But also
And
position
pitchers.
players are separate from pitchers.
Oh.
So you have a position player's WAR and a pitcher's WAR.
Okay, gotcha.
So in the different tiers, there are 5 tiers: $5, $4, $3, $2, $1.
Yes.
I want you to tell me which player was the highest single season WAR. Does that make sense?
Yes.
On the $5 tier, it was Ken Griffey Jr., Edgar Martinez, Ichiro Suzuki, Alex Rodriguez, and the big unit, Randy Johnson. Which of those players had the highest single season WAR for the Seattle Mariners?
Makes me very upset. But I'm pretty sure it's Alex Rodriguez.
Alex Rodriguez is correct. In 2000,
But
the year
also-
before he defected to Texas,
He was so freaking
he had a 10.4 WAR.
Did you say defected?
Yeah, I
love
did.
that. I love it.
Yep.
Ken Griffey Jr.'s highest was 9.7 in 96. Edgar's was 7.0 in 95. Ichiro's was 9.2 in 2004, which is interesting because he won the MVP in 01. And Randy Johnson's highest as a Mariner was 8.6 in 95.
Well, remember, to win an MVP, you have to be on a good team.
Good point.
Yeah.
Daniel on the $4 tier.
Okay.
We had Brett Boone, Robinson Cano, Kyle Seager, Alvin Davis, and Felix Hernandez.
I'm going to say peak Brett Boone was more ridiculous than any of those other guys' peak seasons.
Daniel, you are 2 for 2. Because when Brett Boone was roiding, even though he said he would never use steroids because if he used steroids he'd play in the NBA because he would be able to dunk.
Did he say that?
Yeah. He said if I was on steroids I'd be able to dunk and I'd play in the NBA.
That definitely sounds like someone who's on steroids.
Yeah.
In 2001,
Also,
Brett Boone had an 8.8 WAR.
We also have two things in common with the top two war guys.
Steroids?
Steroids. Yeah. Okay. There we go.
Robinson Cano's highest was a 7.3 in 2016.
Another steroids guy.
Felix Hernandez was 7.2 in 2010. Kyle Seager 6.7 in 2016, and Alvin Davis
Non-steroid guy.
5.9 in 1984. Before
gonna say that-
steroids were invented.
Felix didn't have steroids. He had like junk food.
Yeah.
Possibly also sticky stuff. I don't know if
You're
that
2
was
for
that
2,
widespread
Daniel.
at that point, but
Let's go to the $3 tier. Mike Cameron.
Wait, Francis just said the Mariners are 7.5 back in the AL right now. I don't know if you know this, but nobody cares about if you're back in the AL. They just care about their divisions.
Francis does. That's the only
But they're
Francis-
still the best team in the worst division, though.
Francis, shut your mouth or I'm throwing you over the side of my arc. Mike Cameron, John Olerud, Mitch Hamburger, Julio Rodriguez, and Jamie Moyer.
Wait, is this their best war as a Mariner?
Best WAR in
Or-
a single season
as a Mariner.
as a Mariner.
As a Mariner.
Yes.
Okay, because John Olerud had a war before he was a Mariner. That was
Mariner
probably
seasons
bonkers.
only.
Okay, so what were the options again?
Mike
Sorry?
Cameron,
Okay.
John Olerud, Mitch Hamburger, Julio Rodriguez, and Jamie Moyer.
Ooh. I'm gonna say Mitch Hamburger because he went bacon cheeseburger one year and was awesome.
Daniel, that is correct. Technically, there were two correct answers here because Jamie Moyer in 99 had a 6.5 WAR,
Holy crap!
which is the same that Mitch Hamburger had in 2018.
Dang. I always underestimate Jamie Moyer.
You do.
Yeah.
It's very rude.
It's because he didn't throw hard, and
Yeah.
you discriminate against guys who don't throw hard.
Daniel's like, oh, if you're not throwing 90 plus.
Julio Rodriguez had a 6.2 in 2022. He actually has 2 WARs in the top 50 of Mariners history in a single season.
If only it was,
Yeah,
not
I-
due to like
I-
1 month of
I
ridiculousness.
totally get it.
He's
Mike
so
Cameron,
good for a month that everybody thinks he's a god,
Yeah.
but really it's just for a month.
Mike Cameron 5.9 in 2001, and John Olerud 5.2 in 2001.
Go Cougs.
Andrew, can you look up John Olerud's highest WAR season before he was a Mariner? I'm just curious about that.
And while he's looking that up, we'll move on to the $2 selections. Harold Reynolds, Adrian Beltre, Dan Wilson, Nelson Cruz, and either Mike or Mark Langston, whose first name I forgot, who played in the 80s. I think it's Mark.
It's Mark Langston.
Okay. I just put Langston in my notes,
Yeah,
trusting myself to remember.
and you forgot. He's got that picture of him with his leg like up next to his head.
Looks like he's doing yoga.
Yeah, so
it's
weird.
really weird.
Chase said, "People cheat in baseball? I had no idea."
Oh, Chase. Oh, Chase.
Oh, that's good. It's built into
and
the baseball culture.
Daniel said all pitchers use sticky stuff. We know this.
Yes.
Accurate. But except they don't really anymore because now it's been outlawed.
Well, they check it in between innings, so it makes it a lot harder.
Yeah. So they just use rosin and sweat, or the rosin from the bag and sweat, and then it makes like a sticky substance.
They do their best with that, yeah.
Yeah.
This is a tough one, Justin.
Yeah. The last two are actually really hard, I thought.
I'm going to say Mark Langston.
Daniel,
I was going to say because when Andrew asked me a war-related question when you were gone, he was a lot higher than I thought he was going to be. So I'm going to just lean into that.
well, considering the fact that I had no idea who he was,
Yeah.
he was also higher than I thought he was going to be. But Yoga Man Mark Langston is correct, Daniel. 4 for 4, 5.9 on the war
Nice.
in 1987.
Okay.
Adrian Beltre was next in 06 with a 5.6.
That's who my next thought was going to be.
Nelson Cruz 5.1 in 2015.
Love that guy.
Dan Wilson, I'm assuming you just don't get enough credit for being a great defensive catcher.
Apparently not.
Was a 3.8 in 97. And Harold Reynolds, again, probably defense would help with this as well. 1990 was a 4.8. Daniel, you're 4 for 4. You can go 5 for 5 and get into the Beeve zone.
The Beeve Zone.
You're already into the Coug zone.
I'm just trying to get into the dam.
Beeve zone if you get this right.
Daniel, in 1993 for Toronto, Olerud had a 7.8 WAR season.
Really good.
So that would have put him at like
Also in
fifth best on this whole list.
1998 for the New York Mets, he had a 7.6 WAR season.
Wow.
So either one of those would have put him at 5th on this list,
Go Cougs.
just behind Randy Johnson and you'd have A-Rod, Jr., Ichiro,
Randy.
and then
That.
Olerud.
Gotcha.
Yeah. All right, $1 level.
Okay.
J.P. Crawford, Phil Bradley, who also I didn't know, but he
No
played in
clue
the
who that
80s.
is.
He played in
Yeah.
the 80s.
Yeah.
Big Dumper, Cal Raleigh,
I know him.
Kazuhiro Sasaki, and the Chief, Freddie Garcia.
I am gonna say for 1 year, I'm gonna say it's Freddie Garcia.
I will say this answer surprised me a little bit, not because of the person it was, but because of the year it happened in. Freddie Garcia is correct.
But it wasn't 2001.
It wasn't 01.
Wow.
It was 1999.
Really?
He had a 5.4 WAR
Wait, so him and Jamie Moyer had their best WAR seasons in '99?
outside of 2001.
And
Isn't
then
that
in
crazy?
2001, they 114.
They both had really good WAR also in 2001,
Yeah.
but they weren't their highest.
That's crazy.
So you went 5 for 5, Daniel. Congratulations on making it into the Beaver Zone. Just to round things out, the part of the reason I thought this was complicated was because I knew JP had a huge WAR last year.
Yeah.
He was at 5.1, so just 0.3 behind the Chief.
Yeah.
In 2023, Phil Bradley, whatever, had a 4.8 in 1985, which is the year I was born. Kazuhiro Sasaki in 2000 had a 1.3. I think closers have a real hard time getting a good WAR.
Yeah,
And
it's
then-
almost like relief pitchers don't affect the game as much as everybody thinks they do.
Weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Mariano Rivera, the most overrated player in the history of all sports.
Yeah, shocker.
Yeah. Yeah, suck it, Francis. I'm throwing you over the edge of the arc. And then Big Dumper in 2022 had a 3.9 WAR. So that will conclude this edition of Stump Daniel, brought to you by the Law Office of Jeffrey A. Domashevitz.
That was a lot of fun. Do
Glad
we
you
wa-
liked it?
I really enjoyed that. It was
Yeah.
not dumb.
Yeah.
Do we?
Was it stupid?
I don't know. Isn't most of what we do stupid or dumb?
Well, Hannah's nodding yes, so I'm gonna go with yeah. So,
Do we want to get into a mailbag question?
no,
It's been a long show, so I guess
it's been a long show. It was a low.
But we have to filibuster until Andrew gets back, and I don't know where he went.
Actually, to be honest, Hannah looks angry. Like, she just gave me a look that, and now she's telling me she's always angry every time we're here.
That's her secret. It's like the Hulk.
It's not what she said, but it is what she said with her eyes. Is I'm always angry when you're here. She technically didn't say it with her words, but I felt it in my soul. Yeah.
It's because you remind Pax that he hasn't been loved all week.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. It must be frustrating when your dog loves someone more than they love you.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that going to do it for our show today?
That's dumb.
Sorry.
That's stupid.
Yeah, I think it's going to do it for our show today.
Oh, boy.
Francis is wondering who's the only unanimous vote getter in the Baseball Hall of Fame, asking for a friend. Yeah, we know.
We
Francis.
know.
It is the most overrated baseball player of all time.
Yeah.
Possibly athlete of all time.
Categorically.
See, here's the
factual.
problem.
Like, it's not even a discussion.
And it's
if
actually-
you look at his numbers and impact and the fact that he's the only unanimous player, he is factually the most overrated baseball player of all time.
For
and
him-
likely, if we looked into it more, the most overrated athlete of all time.
For him to not be the most overrated baseball player of all time, he would have to be the greatest baseball player of all time. And he's not.
And he's easily not.
He's easily not in the top 20.
He's not
Nobody
actually
would ever
even
argue
a
that.
baseball player. He is simply
He is a
a
subset
reliever.
of a subset.
in
He
the same
failed
way,
and then succeeded
in
after
the
failing.
same way that
Come on.
I
You
don't
can
know
do
what
it.
when the guy bats the designated hitter in the same way that the designated hitter is not a real baseball player.
Exactly.
Except the designated hitter has a bigger impact on the game.
Absolutely.
Oh, far bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So suck it, Francis.
So stupid.
Let's wrap this up. It's
So
been way too
stupid.
long.
If you asked anybody in the world, hey, who's the greatest baseball player of all time? I don't think Mariano Rivera would be on the top 10.
0% of people are saying Mariano Rivera.
Yep, exactly. Even Yankees fans wouldn't say Mariano Rivera.
That's true.
Even
That's
Yankees
true.
fans wouldn't put him in. He wouldn't be a top 10 Yankee.
Top 10?
He would. You want me to name 10 better Yankees off the top of my head?
Sounds awful.
That does
I can
sound
do.
fun.
Me, a Mariners fan,
Do
could
it.
name. Okay,
Do it.
Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, Mickey Mantle, Joe DiMaggio, Derek Jeter,
Oh.
Alex
Oh, you put
Rodriguez
Derek
was
Jeter
a
above
better
Marion?
one.
A-Rod makes sense.
Bernie Williams.
Jeter also super overrated.
Yeah, Bernie Williams, Andy Pettit, Roger Clemens, and
You're stretching it here.
and Robinson Cano. All better Yankees. All better Yankees than Mariano Rivera.
Aaron Judge.
Aaron Judge.
Francis is so happy. We've just validated his existence.
Giancarlo Stanton.
Judge.
Paul
Aaron
O'Neill.
Judge is-
Paul O'Neill. How about
Aaron
that?
O'Neill.
Yeah,
Jorge
there we go.
Posada.
Jorge Posada. Dang it, we just did a list of a whole bunch of great Yankees. That really,
Makes me feel gross.
I don't feel good about that.
And on that bombshell, that's going to do it for our show today. So, for my co-host, Justin, No Cookies Damashevitz,
And my co-host Daniel, that's dumb Hargrove.
and our trusty producer, Andrew, Go Cougars. Gross.
Cigars.
Like raccoons.
You've been listening to The Scrimmage.